Chapter 330. Yi Qinghan pulled out the sword from the old woman's body and stopped the bleeding. He threw her a 6th-grade healing pill and said with a frown, "In this chaotic world, it's not suitable for a sect like yours. Go to the central area of the imperial region. At least the ancient massacre god is there to maintain order." Yuqin knelt and said sorrowfully, "Young master, you don't know. Our cultivation is not strong, and we don't have any foundation. How can we survive in the central area of the imperial region? Master, help them to the end. How about you help them? Otherwise, what's the difference between us and those people? Ever since the parrot killed the primal chaos emperor, it claimed to be the savior of the world. Its benevolence exploded, and it wanted to save the weak. Seeing so many pitiful female cultivators, it immediately wanted to help. Young master, please save us. So many disciples of the Desire God sect have gone missing. They will definitely come. Any elite disciple will be enough to make us powerless." Yuqin and the others all knelt on the ground. Even the old woman knelt and kept begging. Yi Qinghan was stunned. It was as if he saw Owl Warstar from back then. So many people were begging and crying like them, but no one helped. Who? Yi Qinghan exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and sighed. "Sigh, take this token. If you see the ancient god of slaughter, or the disciples of the Tao realm's sacred grounds, ask them to help send you to the insane sect on the east side of Emperor Abyss City. Let Xiaqiyue make arrangements for you." Yi Qinghan threw out a wooden token. The words on it were not ordinary at all. They were soul-stirring. Insane sect. It was just 2 words, but it represented a legend. It could at least intimidate many people. Yuqin took the token. She was overjoyed when she saw the words on it. She looked up at Yi Qinghan excitedly and asked respectfully, "Young master, are you from the insane sect?" "Yes, there's no need to pack up Jade Maiden Peak. Hurry up and leave. This place is not suitable for you to stay," Yi Qinghan said and left. The world here was like Owl Warstar from back then. Many people were begging helplessly. Unfortunately, he could not help them all. In truth, it wasn't just the imperial region that was like this. All of the endless universes were in chaos. Experts occupied an area and acted tyrannically, forcefully plundering resources. Corpses piled up like mountains, and many powerful female cultivators could be seen everywhere. In this chaotic world, only the strong could protect themselves. The weak could only cry in hell. Yuqin carried the old woman on her back and led the many female disciples to madly rush to the center of the sovereign domain, under the cover of the night. They didn't dare to stop at all. They rested during the day and traveled at night. They didn't dare to appear in front of experts. They only dared to rush into the city when they were close to it. The city was not very safe. The people of the hidden aristocratic families did not care about the city lord of a small city. Some powerful sects also wanted to take the opportunity to make a profit. When they saw the female cultivators, their eyes lit up. A strong martial artist of the god realm led a group of disciples to surround Yuqin and the others. He jokingly said, "Fairies, seeing how tired you all are, I can tell that you are refugees. If you don't have anyone to rely on, why don't you join our Iron Wolf gang?" Yuqin couldn't help but retreat a few steps with the old woman on her back, but the other party was getting closer and closer, forcing them to the city gate. Whoosh. Yuqin flashed the wooden token and said with gritted teeth, "You are a local force of the sovereign domain. Don't tell me you don't recognize where this token came from?" The Iron Wolf gang was stunned. Who didn't know about the group of lunatics of the insane sect? Especially Yi Qinghan. With his violent temper, he even dared to scold a boundary emperor. Was there anything he didn't dare to do? There was also that stupid bird. It was said that he had killed the dead spirit emperor. The local forces of the sovereign domain had to be wary of the insane sect. Even the Tao realm's sacred grounds had to give them face. So, "Sorry, we didn't know you were from your sect. We will leave now." The strong martial artist's face was ashen. He felt a burning pain on his face, as if he had hit a metal plate. "What are you waiting for? Apologize to the fairy." The strong martial artist of the Iron Wolf gang angrily scolded the disciples behind him. "Fairy, we are sorry. We didn't mean to offend you." Whoosh. The strong martial artist led the group of disciples out of the city. Yuqing couldn't help but exhale a turbid breath. She clutched the token tightly. The wooden token looked worthless, but it was a life-saving treasure in this chaotic world. At this moment, a middle-aged man wearing the battle robes of the ancient slaughter god just so happened to arrive here. They were in charge of maintaining order in the imperial region. Unfortunately, the ancient slaughter god had suffered heavy losses in the last war. Now they were lacking in manpower and had to travel back and forth between several cities. They simply couldn't manage other matters. Yuqing was overjoyed. She ran to the strong martial artist and respectfully presented the token. Who gave you the insane sex token? How can I help you? The ancient massacre god's disciple was stunned. The words on the token were so arrogant that it could suppress the heavens. It was obvious that it was carved by a top expert of the insane sect. He immediately asked, "Sir, it's a young man. He has a 7-foot-long sword in his hand. He saved us and asked us to take this token to the ancient massacre gods, help to send us to the insane sect. Please help us." Yuqing directly knelt down and looked at the ancient massacre god's disciple expectantly. The ancient massacre god's status was very high. He wasn't someone that ordinary people could command. She couldn't guarantee that this wooden token wouldn't make him help. The ancient massacre god's disciple raised his eyebrows and his eyelids twitched. The young man described by Yuqing was Yiqing Han. If he could help Yiqing Han, he would have one more life-saving trump card in this chaotic world. "You all come with me." The ancient massacre god's disciple led Yuqing and the others out of the city without hesitation. They finally didn't have to worry about anything. Yiqing Han brought the parrot and sped all the way to the eastern wasteland. He didn't hide his tracks anymore. When he encountered evil cultivators, he directly killed them. He had offended countless forces. The local forces of the imperial domain were not afraid of him, but the people of the hidden forces were not. They kept sending experts to stop him. Unfortunately, they were all sent to their deaths. Yiqing Han didn't treat them kindly, he only wanted to kill them. One man and one saber. In this chaotic world, he killed one person every 10 steps. Blood stained the ground. The parrot clamored. Every time it helped someone, it would leave behind the name, Divine Bird Savior. For a while, rumors spread everywhere. Some people didn't even know if it was Yiqing Han or a bird that helped. Finally, Yiqing Han's strength attracted an expert, Diwuhe. Diwuhe joined forces with 3 experts from the Yinyang school, 5 disciples from the Profound sect, and 2 powerful 9th-layer Immortal Gate experts to attack Yiqing Han's location. On the second day, a group of people blocked Yiqing Han's path. Diwu Tianhe's killing intent soared to the heavens as he said coldly, "Yiqing Han, return the heavenly scripture of the Dao Si to me and I'll grant you an intact corpse." "Fuck, I've never seen anyone who wants to die like you. If you hadn't injured Wuxia, half of the light source would have been mine. It's all your fault, you bastard. I'm going to burn you alive." The parrot roared furiously when it saw Diwu Tianhe. It was even angrier than when it saw its enemy. The corners of Yiqing Han's mouth curled up as he looked at the 11 experts. They were considered a formidable force. However, only Diwu Tian Gully could withstand a few blows from Yiqing Han. "I've been looking for you all over the world, and you actually came to me to die." Yiqing Han sneered in disdain. He clenched his fist and charged into the crowd. Boom. Whoosh. The saber light pierced through the sky, and the tyrannical qi could steal one's soul. Yiqing Han was like a wolf in a flock of sheep. His basic saber art had become a killing secret art. The same secret art, but the power was on a completely different level. The experts from the Profound sect and the 3 experts from the Yinyang school were instantly injured. The destructive qi attached to the saber qi killed most of their vitality. Saber shattering the Milky Way. Whoosh. Yiqing Han was unstoppable. He turned into a god of war, and with a single slash, a shockwave rushed into the clouds, causing the ground to tremble. "Ah! Run! Pucci!" The miserable screams were instantly drowned out. When the dust settled, Diwu Tianhe was stunned. He looked around in horror. The 10 experts he had found hadn't even been able to withstand a single blow. They had all died without a complete corpse. Even their bones had been shattered into dust. "This is impossible. It's only been 2 years. How can you be so strong?" Diwuhe roared in anger, and kept retreating. He had no more strength to fight. Master's greatness is not something you can imagine. Die in peace. Don't hang around in front of this divine bird. Just looking at you annoys me. The parrot said disdainfully while squatting on Yi Qinghan's shoulder. Yi Qinghan put away his saber and formed a seal with his palms. He waved his hand and said in a deep voice, "Be my stepping stone. I'll use you to test my secret art." Return of the Emperor Realm. Boom. The spiritual qi in the world was forcefully conscripted by Yi Qinghan. True Yuan poured out and formed a giant hand that suppressed Diwuhi. Diwuhi was scared out of his wits. He didn't dare to fight against Yi Qinghan. He turned around and ran away. However, his speed couldn't be compared to Yi Qinghan's. The giant hand broke through the void and hit Diwuhi's back. Puff! Diwuhi was almost suppressed by the palm. His body cracked and blood stained the ground. His body fell to the ground. In my name, I'll seal the space within 100 miles. Nothing will exist. Yi Qinghan roared. He used his palms to break the space and used the law of space to seal the area. Those who didn't have a deep understanding of the law of space couldn't tear the space apart. Sure enough, when Diwuhi got up from the ground, he couldn't feel the law of space around him. He wanted to run away, but he couldn't. The Emperor descends. Yi Qinghan closed in and waved his hand again to suppress Diwuhi. Yi Qinghan, stop it. If you dare to kill me, the Diwu family will not let you go. Diwuhi roared in despair. If the Diwu family dares to oppose me, I'll destroy them. Yi Qinghan showed no mercy. No matter how strong a person like him was, he was still a selfish person. He didn't deserve to live. Boom. The giant hand smashed the ground and a huge pit appeared. Diwuhi's blood splattered into the sky. His vitality was suppressed, and he died on the spot. Today is Sister Do's and my birthday. I'll write 10 chapters first. There will be more during the day. Please give me your blessings. A review, a tip, and a subscription are the best affirmation for me. Thank you. Chapter 331. A huge fire burned the battlefield, and 11 experts died on the spot. Not even their corpses were left. This scene was witnessed by many people, which made the local forces excited. Finally, someone dared to provoke the hidden sects and fight for the local forces. Yi Qinghan left indifferently. After killing them, he suddenly understood that the chaotic world was heartless. The great emperors also walked to the peak by stepping on corpses. The corpses they stepped on might not have hatred, but only determination. The chaotic world was heartless, and so were the great emperors. Their killing intent might be stronger than anyone else's. They pushed forward unhindered. As long as there was an opponent, they would kill. No matter how strong the opponent was, or if they had the potential to prove their Tao, they would be killed mercilessly. This was the path to prove one's Tao. Yi Qinghan pressed forward. His heart became clearer and clearer, and his battle intent grew stronger. At this moment he finally understood why he killed. At this moment, there was no longer any burden in his heart. Along the way, Yi Qinghan killed at least 100 experts. The weakest of them was at the 5th layer of the Immortal Gate. He was known as the Berserk War Demon, or the Mad Demon. His reputation spread throughout the entire sovereign domain. The Eastern Wasteland was incomparably huge. It was a large continent in the sovereign domain, as vast as a star domain. The aura of the great wilderness pervaded this place. Everything was still very ancient. There weren't many sects, but they were all very powerful. The desolate ancient forest covered the sky, and ancient beasts could be seen everywhere. The mountain range stretched endlessly. It was a place rarely explored by the experts of the sovereign domain, because there was a danger zone that could devour quasi-emperor experts. The Golden Crow Mountain was also known as the Flaming Mountain. The temperature was extremely high, and there was an ancient sacred beast called the three-legged golden crow. It represented the scorching sun, and was as fast as lightning. Even quasi-emperors couldn't escape from its pursuit. The Golden Crow race and the experts of the sovereign domain had an agreement that quasi-emperors weren't allowed to enter the Eastern Wasteland. In the entire Eastern Wasteland, there were no other forces except for a few families and sects that used fire as their secret arts and worshipped the Golden Crow as their totem. The families and sects in the depths of the Eastern Wasteland ostracized outsiders, and rarely interacted with the Tao realm's sacred grounds. This place was well preserved, and it was similar to the desolate ancient era. The spiritual qi was abundant, and there were precious herbs and spirit herbs everywhere. The desolate aura was very dense, and only birds could fly in the sky. Yi Qinghan arrived at the entrance of the eastern wasteland. That's right, there were many supreme treasures here. This was even a battlefield from the ancient times. If one had the opportunity, it wasn't impossible to obtain a damaged emperor weapon. A broken monarch weapon was the best material to forge a natal monarch weapon. No one would disassemble a complete monarch weapon to forge a new one. Even if a great sovereign didn't have a monarch weapon, he wouldn't do that. A complete monarch weapon represented the hard work of the ancestors. It was no different from blaspheming the ancestors. The parrot left Yi Qinghan to search for treasures and materials. Yi Qinghan released the god-slaying eagle, fire crow, and the rainbow snake, and let them search for their own fortunes. Once these three powerful creatures entered the forest, they immediately devoured the giant beasts in a frenzy, especially the rainbow snake. Wherever it passed, there was no life. It was as fast as lightning and was very small, so it was impossible to guard against it. The divine martial realm giant beasts were instantly devoured until only skin and bones were left, and all their essences were devoured by it. Roar! A giant beast pounced at the god-slaying eagle, but the god-slaying eagle grabbed it and threw it into the sky. The beast roared and struggled wildly, but it couldn't fly at all. Boom! The forest collapsed, and gravel flew everywhere. The giant beast fell to its death. The god-slaying eagle swallowed the giant beast, and realized that the ancient beasts here were very powerful. They were the best nourishment. It couldn't help but pounce into the distance. Yi Qinghan frowned. He didn't understand why such powerful beasts couldn't fly. However, when he wanted to fly into the sky, he realized that the space here seemed to forbid flying. Other than birds, humans couldn't fly at all. No matter how strong the giant beasts were, they couldn't fly. This is the golden crow's territory. Other than birds, no one can fly. This is the golden crow Thearka's curse, the parrot said excitedly as it flapped its wings smugly. No wonder. Yi Qinghan smiled. If what the parrot said was true, then the golden crowtharch was really mischievous. In order to show the advantages of birds, he actually cursed the entire eastern wilderness. Giant beasts with savage bloodlines were as large as mountains. They were good at camouflage and could hide in the forest like a mound. No one would pay attention to them. However, the spirit beasts by Yi Qinghan's side all had terrifying spiritual awareness and intelligence. This was especially true for the parrot. It charged through the forest with its mouth full of saliva, swallowing any high-level spirit grass it came across. Yi Qinghan followed behind it, speechless. This was the first time he saw a bird eating grass. It was indeed a legendary weirdo. Oh my! There's a supreme treasure here. The parrot rushed into a valley. Yi Qinghan followed closely, afraid that it would encounter danger. The multicolored snake and the god-slaying eagle would not be too far away from Yi Qinghan. They guarded the surroundings and started to hunt with him as the base. A large number of giant beasts were devoured, leaving only a few skin bags behind. The multicolored snake evolved very quickly. However, not only did it not become bigger, it was shrinking instead. It could control its body on its own. In the valley, Yi Qinghan looked up at the sacred ground. The light was gentle, and the flowers were red and green. The spirit qi was so dense that it was liquid. It was extremely ethereal, like a paradise on earth. In the center of the valley was a lake with a radius of a few thousand meters. There were many lotus leaves on it, and the spirit qi was constantly changing into liquid form and dripping into the lake. Whoosh! The parrot started to devour the spirit qi directly, discarding the waste water. At this moment, it was like a filter, taking the essence and discarding the dregs. The god-slaying eagle, fire crow, and the multicolored snake also followed in and directly jumped into the lake. The multicolored snake was like a miniature version of a divine dragon. It swam in the lake, coiling around the green lotus and disappearing in a flash. The green lotus withered, and its essence was devoured by the snake at a frightening speed. Yi Qinghan's pupils shrank slightly. He felt that the multicolored snake's evolution speed was much faster than the god-slaying eagle's. In a short while, it had successfully evolved to the middle stage of rank 7, and was moving towards the peak of rank 7. Once it entered rank 8, no one knew where the potential of this creature would end. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, hundreds of spirit snakes rushed out of the lake, and all of them pounced on the multicolored snake. They bared their fangs, wanting to protect the green lotus in the lake. Hiss hiss hiss. The multicolored snake devoured the spirit snakes crazily. Its body was expanding like a giant multicolored python, swallowing countless spirit snakes in one gulp. Hum! The multicolored snake swallowed hundreds of high-level spirit snakes and started to suck in water. It was like a dragon in the legends, hanging upside down and sucking in water. A huge water droplet appeared in the center of the lake and rushed into space. The multicolored snake's excited voice was like a dragon's roar, echoing through the valley. Whoosh! Suddenly, divine light surged from the depths of the lake, forming a green barrier around the lake. It blocked the god-slaying eagle and the multicolored snake's crazy absorption of spirit chi. Only the parrot rushed into the barrier and was not affected at all. Yi Qinghan was shocked. His eyes pierced through the void and saw a huge green lotus in the center of the lake controlling space patterns, confining the surroundings. Its body was also emitting a terrifying aura, forming a barrier in the outside world, preventing spirit chi from leaking out. Yi Qinghan was shocked. This green lotus was far more ancient than he had imagined. He whispered, "Is it from the beginning of the Shenwu era, the ancient times or the ancient times or the legendary ancient times? The green lotus represents life. I wonder if its essence can save the life of the rank 9. The green lotus sat on the surface of the water. When the mature lotus seeds fell to the bottom of the lake, even after 10,000 years, they would not rot. Instead, countless green lotuses would grow. Yi Qinghan reached out to touch the barrier. He realized that the barrier was very gentle, but it was incomparably tough. The barrier would return the same amount of force he exerted. It seemed to contain the principles of yin and yang, and the green lotus had used it to the extreme. Divine bird, bring out some green lotus seeds. Yi Qinghan could not enter. The god-slaying eagle and the multicolored snake were also rejected. The fire crow transformed into its human form and stood behind Yi Qinghan, looking at the green lotus with a covetous expression. The divine light was gentle and round, containing a terrifying life force. The patterns of the great Tao and the laws followed. It seemed like it was about to prove its Tao. There was only one sacred medicine to prove its Tao. It was the enlightenment divine lotus from the ancient times. It comprehended the great Tao of the 9 heavens, and became the strongest in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. In the end, it disappeared quietly. No one knew where it went. The parrot's eyes flickered as it landed on the green lotus leaf. Its eyes darted around as it said to the green lotus, "Great divine lotus, this divine bird is not greedy. I will not harm your foundation. I only want some lotus seeds to save people. I hope you will be generous." The green lotus swayed. It did not reject the parrot at all. A ripple appeared on the surface of the lake, and then it spun at a low speed. A small whirlpool appeared. The black lotus seeds at the bottom of the lake were filled with Tao patterns. It was as if one could see through all kinds of great Tao from the lotus seeds. The parrot's eyes lit up. Its little claws moved, and the universe ring continuously absorbed the lotus seeds. 3 seeds, 5 seeds, 20 seeds. The parrot said that it was not greedy, but it was greedy to the extreme. It took a total of 50 lotus seeds, all of which were produced by this large green lotus. They were extremely precious. After taking away the green lotus seeds, the parrot still did not leave. At this time, the green lotus had already matured. The lotus seeds were also ripe and could fall off at any time. Its mouth drooled. "Great divine lotus, look at how cute I am. I'm not greedy. Can you give me some of the lotus seeds that have just ripened? Just half is enough. AI, these are chaotic times. The human race needs precious treasures to grow." The parrot chattered on endlessly. The green lotus continuously swayed its leaves. In the end, it had no choice but to open its own lotus seed pod. 5 lotus seeds flew out, emitting divine light. They were filled with the profound mysteries of the great Tao. Their value was simply inestimable. Ha ha ha, many thanks, Lord Green Lotus. I hope you can prove your Tao and ascend soon, and become eternal. The parrot did not dare to be greedy. It took the lotus seeds and directly rushed to the shore. Chapter 332. The parrot smugly rushed out from the lakeshore. The enchantment was nothing to it. Just as it had said, as long as there was spiritual energy, it couldn't be stopped from entering. As long as the enchantment was filled with spiritual energy, it could take advantage of the opportunity to enter. The parrot returned to Yi Qinghan's shoulder. It grinned and said, Master, Qing Lian gave me a lotus seed. Here you go. Yi Qinghan had taken more than 50 lotus seeds. 5 of them had just ripened and were more effective. Yet the parrot had said that it had obtained one. Its ability to lie through its teeth was top-notch. Yi Qinghan's eyes flashed. The corners of his mouth curled into a mocking smile. How could he not understand the parrot's temper? If it had obtained one, it would have said that Qing Lian was stingy and didn't give it any seeds. Give me half. Otherwise, don't blame me for taking them all away. Yi Qinghan grabbed the parrot and said coldly, Hiss! The multicolored snake angrily looked at the parrot. It stuck out its forked tongue, as if it wanted to swallow it whole. The god-slaying eagle also screeched in a threatening manner. The parrot trembled. It quickly threw out a dozen green lotus seeds, including one that had just ripened. It smiled flatteringly and said, Master, I'm hiding them for you. If you need them in the future, I won't hesitate to give them to you. Yi Qinghan didn't feel like arguing with it. He put away the lotus seeds. He found that one of them was completely different from the others. It was full of light and vitality. It contained at least 4 or 5 kinds of Tao principles. It was extremely precious. Give me 2 more of these lotus seeds. Yi Qinghan's eyes flashed as he said in a deep voice. Master, we agreed that we would each take half. The parrot went crazy. There were only 5 of these lotus seeds. It was greedy for these lotus seeds. How many of them did you get? Yi Qinghan looked at the parrot. He really wanted to slap it to death. It was the first time he had seen a spirit pet that dared to compete with its master. 3 for okay, I got 5. The parrot looked at Yi Qinghan's eyes. It didn't dare to hide anything. It hung its head and said in a dejected manner, Give me 2. I hope it can save Jiu Chang's life. Take 2 and I won't ask you for more in the future. Yi Qinghan sighed and shook his head. As a member of the insane sect, this divine bird is a kind and benevolent person. How could I not save him? I left the lotus seed to save him and Wuxia. The parrot said righteously. Yi Qinghan shook his head. The parrot's ability to quibble was top-notch, but it was slightly lacking in terms of shamelessness. Yi Qinghan didn't want to argue with it. He bowed towards the center of the lake and said, Thank you, Senior Blue Lotus, for bestowing upon me this panacea. In the future, this junior will do his best to repay you. The green lotus swayed and its brilliance illuminated the sky, as if it was responding to Yi Qinghan's words. Little did they know that this chance encounter would bestow upon each other an opportunity greater than the heavens. Yi Qinghan bowed and retreated. He looked at the huge valley and whispered, It would be nice to build the insane sect here. Outside the valley, the colorful snake swam in front of Yi Qinghan and stuck out its forked tongue. Obviously, it was drooling over the lotus seed. The parrot suddenly flashed and said proudly, Submit to this divine bird, and I will give you 2. So what? Humph! The god-slaying eagle and the colorful snake turned their heads at the same time. The fire crow snorted in disdain. Fuck. This divine bird is Master's #1 spirit pet. No matter how strong you are, you have to stand aside for me. If you provoke me, I'll pluck out all your feathers. The parrot roared at the multicolored snake. Little snake, what's with your attitude? Oh fuck, how dare you look down on this divine bird? The parrot rubbed its palms together, itching to rush up and give the 3 of them a punch, but its strength couldn't even beat the weakest fire crow, let alone the multicolored snake and the god-slaying eagle. In the end, it could only try to reason with them. Unfortunately, they were indifferent. In the end, they threw out their trump card, throwing out more than 10 lotus seeds. If you recognize me as your big brother in the future, there will be many treasures. If you dare to disrespect me again, hee. The colorful snake swallowed half of the lotus seed in one gulp. Its whole body expanded and its blood vessels expanded. Its whole body was shedding and transforming. New snake skin appeared and 8 colors appeared. Yi Qinghan was shocked. The colorful snake's evolution speed was indeed terrifying. It was actually evolving directly into an 8th-rank colorful snake. The god-slaying eagle was also very fast. After swallowing 5 lotus seeds, its whole body seemed to be covered in flames. Its feathers turned crimson red, and its blood vessels broke through the shackles. It was advancing toward the middle of the 8th rank. The fire crow swallowed 2 seeds and unfolded its body. It covered the sky and the sun, and spat a mouthful of fire into the void, burning the void. The profound meaning of the laws appeared, and the great Tao rumbled. The effect of the lotus seed shocked Yi Qinghan. The 3 spiritual pets were all working hard to evolve. Yi Qinghan was very happy. He held his saber to protect them and stood vigilantly at the side, afraid that a powerful ancient beast would rush out and disturb their evolution. Time passed, and the scorching sun moved. The sun set in the west, and the moon descended. However, this valley was like a scorching sun in the sky. The fire crow's body was almost torn apart. Its strength was the weakest, and it couldn't take it anymore after eating 2 lotus seeds. However, the speed of its evolution was astonishing. It was emitting a scorching light all around. It was frantically suppressing its realm to evolve to the same level. The god-slaying eagle and the colorful snake were both suppressing their realms. Otherwise, they could break through their realms in an instant. The god-slaying eagle was now at the early stage of the divine martial realm. Its combat power wasn't top-notch among its peers. However, at this moment, it was transforming and shrinking. Its wings turned golden red like the scorching sun in the sky. A mournful roar shook the eastern barren, and attracted terrifying giant beasts. However, they were all intimidated and didn't dare to come close. The colorful snake's skin was completely shed. The 8-colored light was captivating. 2 claws appeared below, and with a light shake, it broke through the void. Its eyes opened, and it successfully broke through to the early stage of the 8th rank. Its cultivation was still suppressed at the immortal realm, but its combat power was at least 10 times, or even 100 times. The god-slaying eagle might not be its opponent now. Yi Qinghan smiled excitedly. With the support of these 3 spiritual pets, it would be easy to kill Diwu Quangshan. The parrot squatted on Yi Qinghan's shoulder and scratched its ears and cheeks. It didn't expect the lotus seeds it threw out to be so effective. It regretted it secretly. It should have thrown out 3 seeds first and let them beg it when they were addicted to it. Wouldn't it be easy to subdue them then? Yi Qinghan took out a black lotus seed and held it tightly in his hand. He directly embedded it into his flesh and slowly absorbed its power, comprehending the origin of the great Tao that Qing Lian comprehended. Qing Lian comprehended many great Tao origin laws. The great Tao of yin and yang was the most profound, followed by the great Tao of order. Yi Qinghan closed his eyes. Half of his divine consciousness was outside, guarding the surroundings, and the other half was comprehending the great Tao of yin and yang, and the great Tao of order. The pages of the Divine Martial Emperor Code were flipping crazily. With the support of Yi Qinghan's divine consciousness, the great Tao of yin and yang, and the great Tao of order gradually became clear. At this moment, Yi Qinghan also began to transform. His divine consciousness was clear, rushing to 10,000 miles high, overlooking the eastern wilderness. Everything within 10,000 miles was under his control. Yi Qinghan's aura was rising crazily, as if he could control the order of heaven and earth and the great Tao of yin and yang with a wave of his hand. The Divine Martial Emperor Code crazily supported Yi Qinghan's divine consciousness. It was like a great emperor comprehending the great Tao laws. As long as there was time, any great Tao law could be comprehended. The surrounding forest was dead silent. There wasn't even the sound of birds chirping. Even the wind had stopped. There was only the rustling of leaves due to the scorching heat. The god-slaying eagle twisted its body. Its divine aura was vast and mighty like a divine phoenix. Red flames burned the sky. Its sharp claws emitted golden light, sharper than divine martial Tao weapons. It was still suppressing its realm, but its combat power was getting stronger and stronger. Its vital energy was exuberant, as if it was about to burn. The colorful snake was a gifted snake. Its body was getting smaller and smaller, and the 8 rays of colorful light were getting more and more intense. It shed its skin time and time again, occupying the ground. The vitality in the surroundings was being taken away by it. Fortunately, Yi Qinghan and the god-slaying eagle were far away from it. Otherwise, they would definitely be affected. Time passed slowly. The darkness before dawn shrouded the valley. Yi Qinghan raised his hand slightly. There was a burst of light. The great Tao of order mobilized the light and shrouded the valley. I said the order is under my control. The void is divided, the mountains are moved. A deep voice spread out. In the depths of the void, the firmament was split into 2. The crack was getting bigger and bigger. The mountains shook as if they were going to move the mountains and fill the sea. Yi Qinghan was just whispering. He didn't use his vital energy, but his will had reached such a level. It was a pity that he wasn't strong enough. The mountains weren't moved and they quieted down. I said the order is under my control. The rotten wood is turned into spring. Yi Qinghan pointed at the void and pressed down on a giant withered tree. The great Tao of order patterns appeared, and the withered tree actually transformed from decay into something magical. Vitality appeared, and tender branches and green shoots burst forth. The parrot trembled as it watched the terrifying scene. It fled from Yi Qinghan's shoulder. I said the order is under my control. The sand and stones fill the sea. Whoosh, the sand and stones evolved. It was enough to suppress a valley like a tall mountain. Yi Qinghan continuously formed seals. With a glance, the order of 10,000 things was under his control. The trees could move, the rotten wood could be turned into spring, the laws were swords, and the source was a blade. It could break through shackles. This was order. The will of one eye could suppress everything and change everything. Unfortunately, Yi Qinghan's realm was limited. The great Tao of order couldn't be used. Congratulations, Master. You've comprehended the embryonic form of the great Tao of order. The parrot flattered and congratulated. Yi Qinghan smiled gently. He was gentle, scholarly, and extremely amiable. The order blocked all impurities, and his temperament was transcendent. He said softly, "This is only an embryonic form. It's just a facade. It can hardly display any battle strength against a true expert. Master is smart. It's only a matter of time." The parrot grinned. Yi Qinghan nodded. This was the truth. The great Tao of order required time to comprehend, bitter cultivation, and actual combat. It was only a matter of time before it could be used in the future. He then turned to look at the god-slaying eagle, the brightly colored snake, and the fire crow. He discovered that they had all improved quite a bit. The brightly colored snake had improved the fastest. It had already reached the 8th stage of the Immortal Gate. Its true battle strength was terrifying, not inferior to the peak of the middle stage of the divine martial realm. It was comparable to the god-slaying eagle. If they fought to the death, Yi Qinghan believed that the god-slaying eagle might fall. The parrot was filled with regret. It had actually wasted such a great opportunity. This was the last thing it wanted to do in its life. TSK. You're worth teaching. You didn't waste my lotus seeds. If you submit to me and call me Big Brother, you'll have many benefits in the future. The parrot didn't want to waste this opportunity and made an empty promise. Chapter 333. In the mountains, the parrot stood on Yi Qinghan's shoulder and clamored. It wanted to subdue the 3 powerful and unruly beasts. The fire crow was ordinary, but the god-slaying eagle and the colorful snake, one was personally trained by Yi Qinghan, and the other was gifted. The parrot had long wanted to subdue them. Yi Qinghan thought for a moment. If he was not around, the parrot could take the lead and lead the 3 masters. It could help the Kuang sect. You 3 listen up. In the future, if I am not around, you must listen to the divine bird's orders. Do not go against it. Yi Qinghan stared at the colorful snake and the fire crow. He was not worried about the god-slaying eagle. It had been following him since it was a rank 4. It was loyal and would not go against his will. As expected, the god-slaying eagle immediately nodded. The fire crow hesitated for a moment, but didn't dare to disobey. Even the multicolored snake was cold and unyielding. It was somewhat unwilling, but it didn't dare to go against Yi Qinghan's will. It twisted its body and finally submitted. The parrot laughed arrogantly and took in 3 more underlings. In order to show that as a big brother he would not treat his underlings unfairly, he hurriedly gave the god-slaying eagle and the multicolored snake 5 lotus seeds. The fire crow got 2, which made the 3 of them feel a little better. You will not lose out if you follow me. There are no treasures in this world that cannot be obtained. You will be able to reach rank 9 easily, the parrot said proudly. Yi Qinghan smiled. This parrot was really good at hoodwinking people. It was even better at making empty promises than he was. The god-slaying eagle believed in the parrot and treated it sincerely. After all, the parrot had done earth-shattering things along the way. As long as it wanted to do something, there was nothing it could not do. Yi Qinghan led the 4 divine beasts and continued forward, allowing the god-slaying eagle, the colorful snake, and the fire crow to kill and evolve. The eastern wasteland forest was boundless. Yi Qinghan could not fly, so he could only run with his knife. The pressure of the savage martial inheritance and the divine martial inheritance was getting stronger and stronger. It made him understand that Nangong Powu was indeed here, in the eastern wasteland. Screech! The god-slaying eagle roared, its body becoming much smaller, directly tearing apart the archaic creatures, directly devouring them, absorbing the essence within their bodies. The multicolored snake had pierced through a desolate beast at the immortal gate realm. Wherever it passed, it left behind withered bones. Even the bones had become dry and lusterless. Its killing intent was too strong. Yi Qinghan squinted his eyes as he looked at the multicolored snake. He knew that such a thing had to be controlled well, or it would hurt others and himself. The sky brightened, and light enveloped the area. A man and 4 beasts entered the depths, slaughtering their way through. Corpses and bones piled up like mountains. Yi Qinghan stood on top of a tall mountain with his saber in hand and looked down. The forest was ethereal and filled with spiritual qi. White mist coiled in the air and blocked his vision. He sighed in his heart. He did not expect that in this chaotic world, there would still be such a large area within the imperial domain that had not been developed. Crack! Yi Qinghan clenched his fists tightly. Stepping on the god-slaying eagle, he charged straight into the depths. Screech! The speed of the god-slaying eagle was extremely fast, and the stars moved as it charged into a deep ravine. It was as if it had been split open by a sword. The 2 sides of the cliff were dark, as if it had been burned by a fire. There was no sign of life. After countless years, even the big trees could not survive. A terrifying sense of danger shrouded the cliff as murderous intent radiated in all directions. There's a powerful creature. Yi Qinghan lowered his eyes and looked into the depths. The god-slaying eagle leaped down, and the multicolored snake coiled around the head of the god-slaying eagle. It flicked its forked tongue, and its eyes were captivating. Not only was it not afraid, its murderous intent was getting stronger. After reaching the bottom of the cliff, Yi Qinghan leaped down and walked forward with his saber. His eyes pierced through the void, and every step he took caused the cliff to shake. Moo! A strange roar shook the mountains and rivers. Sand and stones fell from the top, making rustling noises. A huge monster stepped out from behind a cloud of dense fog. It was shaped like a cow, had fangs like a wolf, and 4 limbs like a tiger. Its skin was protruding like mountain rocks, like unrefined iron. It was extremely sturdy, and its eyes shot out green light that was filled with greed and killing intent. What the hell is this? There's no such creature in this divine bird's memories. The parrot looked in front of it in astonishment. Swish, swish, swish. The multicolored snake did not care what the other party was. As long as it was a dire beast, it was its food. It broke through the ground and shot towards the dire beast like an arrow. Wah! The fire crow revealed its true form and spat out a mouthful of fire. It drowned the bottom of the cliff, but it could not burn a single rock. Screech! The god-slaying eagle followed closely behind and pounced over. It flapped its wings, and its sharp claws shattered the mountain rocks. It grabbed at the back of the cow, wanting to grab it and throw it to death. Moo! The dire beast roared angrily, and its whole body trembled. A desolate force shot out in all directions, and its body was like an iron wall. The multicolored snake bit into the iron wall. and its teeth loosened as sparks flew. Kacha, an ear-piercing sound made the parrot feel nauseous. Yi Qinghan's skin almost burst open. Its defense was too strong. Yi Qinghan was well aware of the multicolored snake's attacks. Almost no one could block its attacks. This wild beast was only at the divine martial realm, but it was actually able to block the multicolored snake's attack. The multicolored snake's eyes were filled with tears. It had never gnawed on something so hard. It was as if it had gnawed on a monarch weapon. Its teeth almost broke, and it was in so much pain that it could not stop crying. The fire drowned the big iron bull, but unfortunately, it did not cause any damage to it. Instead, it affected the multicolored snake's speed. The god-slaying eagle's sharp claws grabbed the back of the big iron bull. Just as it was about to lift it up, it was ruthlessly flung away. The god-slaying eagle crashed into the mountain walls on both sides, causing rocks to fly in all directions. It was extremely terrifying. Yi Qinghan's pupils shrank. He did not expect to encounter such a powerful creature here. Its defense and strength were so great that even the god-slaying eagle could not cause any damage to it. Screech! Yi Qinghan's azure dragon body erupted, and various major sources poured out and gathered in his body. He stomped on the ground and broke through the void with his saber, directly slashing at the dire beast. Roar! The dire beast roared angrily. It sensed danger and immediately turned its head, using the horns on its head to smash at the heavy manic saber. Boom! The horns and the heavy manic saber collided in an instant, sending shockwaves in all directions. They crashed into the broken cliffs on both sides, but they did not move at all. Only some rocks fell down. Thud, thud, thud. Yi Qinghan's qi and blood were in turmoil as he retreated dozens of steps. Blood flowed from the web between his thumb and forefinger. Even his azure dragon arm was broken. Roar! The dire beast let out a miserable cry. It felt as if its horns were about to break, and its body was like a kite with a broken string. It was ruthlessly smashed into the distance and rolled on the ground for hundreds of meters before coming to a stop. Then, it arched its body and roared at Yi Qinghan, its fangs trying to seize his soul. Yi Qinghan's 10 fingers trembled slightly. The piercing pain made him unable to sense the heavy manic saber. The opponent's defense and attack power were so great that it was terrifying. Attack its soul? The parrot whispered to remind him. This creature's defense was already heaven-defying. Yi Qinghan's saber strike was enough to split open the armor of a divine martial powerhouse, but it did not break through its defense at all. This meant that its soul must be very weak. The creator was fair. Yi Qinghan was startled. Only now did he remember that he specialized in soul techniques. He immediately put away the heavy manic saber, clasped his palms together, and mobilized his divine sense. He took a deep breath and roared out. A terrifying soul force accompanied by true essence poured out, smashing into the dire beast's sea of consciousness. Roar! Roar! Yi Qinghan's roar was like a dragon or a tiger. His aura soared to the heavens, breaking through space and time as he attacked the dire beast's sea of consciousness. The dire beast was shocked. Its divine sense suddenly felt as if it had been pierced by needles. It raised its head and roared, but Yi Qinghan's attacks were endless. His soul forcefully pierced into the dire beast's sea of consciousness, causing its sea of consciousness to turn dark. It screamed continuously as it rolled around on the ground. This creature was very powerful, but unfortunately, its soul defense was also very weak. When it fought against a soul expert, the difference in strength was obvious. Roar! The dire beast roared angrily as it struggled to pounce towards Yi Qinghan. Yi Qinghan mobilized all his strength. He could not retreat from this battle, or he would have to use his arch weapon. Yi Qinghan tapped his temple with his fingertips, once again absorbing divine sense and pouring it out. Kill! With a furious roar. He was like a god of war. His killing intent was dense, and his will was unstoppable. The dire beast was forced to kneel on the ground as it wailed incessantly. The multicolored snake took the opportunity to attack the dire beast's throat. Its fangs pierced through its windpipe and into its body. The god-slaying eagle grabbed its 2 horns and pulled it into the void. Its sharp mouth pierced into the dire beast's eyes, desperately absorbing its essence. Once the dire beast left the ground, it immediately lost its combat ability. Its legs struggled frantically, but it could not break free from the god-slaying eagle's restraint. After a long time, the dire beast went limp. The essence in its body had dissipated. Half of it had been plundered by the god-slaying eagle and the multicolored snake, leaving only a layer of skin and bones. It was thrown off the cliff by the god-slaying eagle. At this moment, the god-slaying eagle had become extremely powerful. The essence in the dire beast's body had been replenished in its brain. In the end, it had absorbed from the eyes. Even though the multicolored snake had devoured half of the dire beast's body, it had not absorbed as much essence as the god-slaying eagle. Yi Qinghan exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. His mental strength had been sucked dry, and he was exhausted. He collapsed on the ground and leaned against a huge rock. After a long time he could barely open his eyes. He took out a round golden elixir from his heaven and earth ring and swallowed it. After his mental strength had been depleted, it increased at an especially fast rate. Yi Qinghan quickly recovered to his peak, following which he even showed signs of a breakthrough. The golden mental strength gathered in his sea of consciousness like a vast ocean, constantly rising and growing. The patterns of the order Great Tao and the Great Tao of Yin and Yang became clearer. If he wanted to cultivate the Great Tao, his mental strength had to be strong. This was the foundation. After a long time, Yi Qinghan opened his eyes. His eyes shone with confidence. Willpower was the order Great Tao. His understanding of the order Great Tao had deepened by another level. Open. Yi Qinghan looked at the hard stone wall on the side of the cliff and muttered to himself in a low voice. Hua. The stone wall that the god-slaying eagle could not break actually separated automatically under his will. Order was re-established. The fire-slaying crow and the multicolored snake were shocked. Their eyes were filled with respect. They did not dare to go against Yi Qinghan's will anymore. At this moment, they were truly subdued. Master is mighty. The parrot was overjoyed. Yi Qinghan had given it too many surprises. Thinking back to when it first met him, he was not even 16 years old, and did not know how to cultivate. Now that he had grown to such a level, this god-slaying spirit-devouring eagle was shocked. Order is to reorganize everything according to one's will. Yi Qinghan muttered in his heart. He clenched his fists and understood the true meaning of the order Great Tao. Once the order Great Tao reached the initial level, one could kill all opponents with one's willpower. Once it reached the final level, one could move mountains and fill seas like a great emperor. One grain of sand could sink the sky. His eyes looked down at the three powerful and gifted ferocious beasts. The multicolored snake lowered its head, and did not dare to look directly at them. Follow me. Let's see what is in the depths that can make a ferocious beast grow to such a level. Yi Qinghan whispered. Swish, 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 Yi Qinghan led the four divine beasts and rushed into the depths. Crescent moon, half moon, half moon. The bowstring continued to be pulled back. The bowstring tore through the space, and the Zhenyuan arrow shot out with a roar. It pierced through the void and directly pierced through the roots of the iron tree, creating a huge hole. Yi Qinghan had used up all his strength, and his true essence had dried up. He could only create a huge hole at the base of the iron tree. It could be seen how dense this strange iron tree was. However, Yi Qinghan wasn't shocked. Instead, he was delighted. Such a supreme treasure might be able to help Zhongquang evolve into a divine martial Dao soldier. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, Yi Qinghan swallowed a large number of level 7 recovery divine pills. His dried-up sea of qi surged again. His true essence roared and quickly recovered. Yi Qinghan was desperately trying to split these iron trees apart. However, he didn't know that there were many such strange iron trees in the depths. They were even thicker and stretched for hundreds of thousands of miles along the Iron Mountain. A mountain range filled with flames occupied the eastern wasteland. No matter how hard the iron was, it would be burned into liquid and flow outwards. This was how the Iron Mountain in the outside world was formed. This was the legendary Golden Crow Mountain, also known as the Mountain of Flames. The temperature was extremely high, enough to burn a boundary emperor to death. There shouldn't be any living creatures here, but that wasn't the case. A golden crow was like a scorching sun. Its feathers were dark gold. However, it was like a fish swimming in water here. It was desperately absorbing the fire essence to strengthen itself. The golden crow represented the sun. According to legends, the sun was transformed from the golden crow. When the golden crow grew to its strongest level, it would evolve into a scorching sun and rush into the void. They only had one child in their bloodline. After the little golden crow was born, the old golden crow would die and pass its essence to the little golden crow. This little golden crow in the mountain of flames was born not long ago. It was less than 200 years old. Compared to humans, it was only 7 or 8 years old. It was still young and inexperienced. At this moment, it was rolling in the mountain of flames. It curled up into a ball and rolled like a scorching sun, emitting a blazing light. Woo-woo. At this moment, the little golden crow seemed to have sensed something. It actually left the mountain of flames and flew towards the Iron Mountain. It was precisely where Yi Qinghan was. Currently, the little golden crow's strength was equivalent to a peak immortal sect expert. However, it could instantly kill some divine martial experts. Once it curled up, its wings could block the attacks of peak divine martial experts. The flame essence in its body was far above the 7th grade. It was an 8th grade flame essence. Once it spat out flames, the fire crow would be instantly burned into nothingness. The little golden crow was very fast. There was hostility and curiosity in its eyes. It had lived in the mountain of flames for many years, and had never seen a second creature. It was always full of curiosity and vigilance towards the outside world. It felt that its territory was being invaded by a foreign species and immediately rushed out to kill. The temperature around the mountain range suddenly increased. The little golden crow was tens of thousands of miles away. It quickly collapsed and appeared in Yi Qinghan's line of sight. Shit, the little golden crow. The parrot was shocked. Its eyes flickered, and it wanted to retreat. Yi Qinghan's pupils shrank. He didn't expect to alarm such a legendary existence here. Not only was their combat strength extraordinary, but they also knew the art of curses. However, no matter how powerful a cursed creature was, it would still suffer misfortune. The little golden crow flew over the mountain range and landed on an iron tree. It looked down at Yi Qinghan and the parrot with vigilance and curiosity in its eyes. You've run into my territory. Hurry up and retreat, otherwise I'll be angry. The little golden crow spoke in a very young and tender voice. The corners of Yi Qinghan's mouth twitched. He faintly smiled and said, "Fellow Taoist must be the legendary divine sun bird, the golden crow? I am Yi Qinghan of the human race. I am just passing by and have no intention of invading your territory. Fellow Taoist, please rest assured." The parrot's eyes flickered. It transmitted its voice to Yi Qinghan and said, "This little golden crow is still young. There are many things that it is still ignorant of. Let me fool it for a while. Maybe I can obtain some lucky chances. Little brother, I've finally found you. I'm your big brother, the big golden crow." The parrot didn't wait for Yi Qinghan's permission. It rushed over and spoke in a tearful voice. Its acting was first class. At this moment, the god-slaying eagle and the fire crow were speechless. Could this parrot be any more despicable? How could a parrot and a golden crow be of the same series? Although their bodies were very similar and round, their feathers were not the same at all. The little golden crow was also confused. Since it was born, it had never seen a second golden crow. It turned its big eyes and looked curiously at the parrot. Then it looked at its feathers and asked doubtfully, "Why are your feathers white? They're different from mine." "Little brother, you've been in the flaming mountain for many years. You've been burned to this extent. Even your color has changed. I feel sorry for my little brother. I've been living in the snowy mountains for many years. Because of the environment, I've become a little whiter. So it's natural that you can't recognize me." The parrot kept approaching the little golden crow. Its acting was so realistic that Yi Qinghan was sweating profusely. Why wasn't this bastard afraid that the little golden crow would fly into a rage and directly burn it to death? "You're my big brother? My parents only gave birth to me." The little golden crow couldn't resist the parrot's deception. It was suddenly confused. "We're from the same clan but from different mothers. My father left after he had sex with my mother. He said that he wanted to bring glory to our golden crow family. He came to the flaming mountain, and that's how you were born," the parrot said solemnly. Puff! Yi Qinghan tried hard to hold back his laughter. The fire crow's face twitched. It couldn't bear it anymore and directly laughed out loud. The parrot rolled its eyes and suddenly pointed at the fire crow and said, "Look at it. It's very similar to us, but its bloodline isn't as strong as ours. Do you know why?" The little golden crow was confused and shook its head to show that it didn't know. It's also our father's fault. He wanted to strengthen the golden crow family. He was so hungry that he couldn't be picky. He found a crow to give birth to a child. That's why we have this nondescript bloodline. The parrot smiled bitterly. The fire crow was furious and wanted to smash this bastard to death. However, it was stopped by Yi Qinghan. However, the parrot was right about one thing. The fire crow did have the golden crow's bloodline. The fire crow crown prince had more of the golden crow's bloodline, which immediately made the little golden crow have a good impression of him. "So it's my brothers." The little golden crow was in tears. It directly hugged the parrot and burst into tears. The parrot originally wanted to squeeze out 2 drops of tears to cooperate. However, after being hugged by the golden crow, it felt as if it was hugging a hot fireball. It almost caught on fire. The tearing pain made it scream and cry. It frantically struggled to break free from the golden crow's shackles. Its cry was simply earth-shattering. Yi Qinghan finally realized that something was wrong. The parrot's body was smoking. Its shrill scream pierced through the sky. It was about to be burned alive. He quickly said, "You two have deep feelings for each other. Heaven and earth can bear witness. But don't hug it so tightly. Little brother." "Ow." The parrot screamed. It wanted to push the golden crow away, but its body was emitting a delicious smell. It could be heard from far away. Seeing that it was about to be burned to death, it suddenly roared, "Little brother, let go of me. Quickly, I'm going to die." The little golden crow was confused and released its wings. It looked at the tears in the parrot's eyes and thought that it was moved. It didn't care that the parrot was smoking. "Big brother, what's wrong?" the golden crow whispered. "Woo woo woo." The parrot wept bitterly. It shook its wings and said, "Nothing. Big brother is just too moved, ow ow." Yi Qinghan was cramping up with laughter. This lowly bird had finally kicked an iron plate. The god-slaying hawk coldly twitched its mouth. This was the first time it had seen the parrot suffer a loss. The fire crow gloated. "Why are you smoking?" Little golden crow seemed to ask on purpose. The parrot's mouth was full of white foam. It was so angry that it almost fainted. At this moment it could only hold on. It clenched its teeth and said, "I was born in the ice plains. Although my talent is extraordinary and I can use flame essences, I can't withstand such high temperatures." "Oh, so that's how it is. Big brother, you're suffering. You don't have any flame essences to absorb. I'll take you to the flame mountain. I can give you half of my food." The little golden crow generously stretched out its small claws to grab the parrot. "No. As a big brother, how can I steal my little brother's food? If you can go to the depths of the flame mountain and bring me some 8th grade flame essences, then this divine bird big brother will be grateful." The parrot retreated again and again. Its refusal was straightforward and righteous. Chapter 335. The little golden crow and the parrot said goodbye with tears streaming down their faces. Yi Qinghan and the others climbed over the iron mountain and walked towards the center. At this time, the hostility from fate intensified. Yi Qinghan was sure that Nangong Powu was in the eastern wilderness. As long as he reached the human territory, he would be able to find him. Huanglin City was the largest city in the eastern wilderness. There were many powerful tribes around the city with a long history. Some tribes could even be traced back to the ancient and immemorial times. Even if a tribe had a history of tens of thousands of years, it would still be a terrifying tribe with a very pure bloodline. This was because they usually did not marry outside the tribe. There were at least a dozen tribes in the eastern wilderness that were more than 100,000 years old. Most of their totems were the golden crow, and some of them were powerful ferocious beasts like wolves and tigers. They treated these wild beasts as their guardian deities. The Sky Wolf tribe was not related to the Sky Wolf tribe of the 1,000 tribes. It was the most powerful tribe within hundreds of thousands of miles. However, in the eastern wilderness, it could only be considered a medium-sized tribe. Even so, the Sky Wolf tribe was like a super powerful force. It was slightly weaker than the Dao Realm Holy Land at its peak, but it was slightly better than the Zhan family's Dao Realm Holy Land. There were no cultivators above the false emperor realm, but there were many strong martial artists. The wolf was the tribe's guardian totem. The wolf flag fluttered in the wind. Outside the tribe, dozens of children were practicing martial arts. Their bodies were strong and vigorous. They practiced teamwork and cooperated with each other. They were very united. Yi Qinghan kept the 3 fierce beasts in his body and walked towards the tribe with the parrot. Little Iron Wolf, you should go home and eat. A delicate and pretty girl of about 15 or 16 years of age was wearing animal skin and carrying a longbow on her back. Half of her slender legs were wrapped in animal skin, and they were as straight as 2 long spears. Her arms were thin and white, but they had terrifying explosive power. She was carrying a huge beast. She was a good hunter at such a young age. Hee, sister, I can already explode with a strength of 1,000 jin. When I have 10,000 jin of strength, I can go hunting with you. Iron Wolf was only 7 or 8 years old, but he had the strength of the Sea of Qi realm. It was no wonder that the tribe had a wolf totem. It doesn't matter. Cultivate well. Sister can handle it. Father is gone and mother is too busy at home. Don't think about practicing martial arts and hunting all day long. You have to help mother more, okay? The young girl's voice was clear and gentle. Her face was young and tender, but there was an indescribable sense of maturity. She was the Purple Iron Wolf's elder sister, Zifei. She was a girl from a small branch of the Heavenly Wolf tribe, and was also the youngest hunter in the surrounding several dozen kilometers. Because her father had died while hunting, she had no choice but to support the family by herself. Her experience since she was a child had shaped her temperament like a thunderbolt. She was mature and steady, had sharp insight, super fast reaction speed, and her ability to foresee danger in advance. This allowed her to support her family by hunting since she was 10 years old. In fact, Yi Qinghan had discovered her long ago and had been following her all this time. Only then did he walk out of the forest. Originally, he wanted to use her to leave the edge of the forest and head towards the big tribe. Suddenly Zifei threw down the prey in her hands and protected the Iron Wolf. Before she even turned around, she knocked an arrow and shot it towards Yi Qinghan. Her movements were as smooth as moving clouds and flowing water, extremely confident and at ease. Whoosh! The arrow light pierced through the void. It had a strength of at least 10,000 jins. It drew out a trail of flames as it shot towards Yi Qinghan. Energy strength blew against his hair, and even his immortal robes fluttered about. Zifei thought that there was a vicious beast behind her, so she suddenly knocked an arrow. She never thought that as she turned around, she would discover that her opponent was a handsome youth. But the arrow had already left the bowstring and escaped her control. She was immediately shocked. She quickly shouted out, "Get out of the way!" But her arrow was far too fast as lightning. Yi Qinghan was startled. When he looked up again, the arrow had already approached his throat. Shwa! Yi Qinghan raised 2 fingers and caught the arrow. Energy strength blew against his hair, causing it to flutter backwards. Zifei and the Purple Iron Wolf's eyes widened. They had never seen such an exaggerated master before. With just 2 fingers, he was able to catch a speeding iron arrow. Yi Qinghan faintly smiled. He apologetically said, "I'm sorry for scaring you. I only lost my way in the forest and followed you out. I have no ill intentions." Ah. Zifei was shocked. She muttered, "No wonder I always felt that someone was watching me. So it was a senior like you. No wonder I couldn't discover you." Yi Qinghan was flabbergasted. This little girl in front of him was only at the Heavenly Passage realm. Yet she could discover that he was following her. Was this a woman's sixth sense? He obviously wouldn't believe such an absurd reason. This little brat has such a strong spiritual sense. The parrot said in surprise. Yi Qinghan nodded. There were many talented people in this world. It was normal for 1 or 2 of them to appear. He had encountered the Zither Immortal Crimson Demon Physique, the Golden Bloodline, and Di Longtian. It was normal for him to encounter a strange physique. May I ask where the largest city is? Yi Qinghan tried his best to maintain a smile. He was afraid that he would arouse the hostility of the 2 children. The largest city is of course Huanglin City. Unfortunately, it's so far away. I've never been there. The purple iron wolf regretfully replied. Can you tell me where it is? Yi Qinghan immediately asked. Continue to head east. With Senior's foot strength, I estimate that you will arrive in half a month. However, looking at the sky, I advise you not to hurry. It will be very dangerous if you continue to walk. Zifei, kindly reminded. Why? Yi Qinghan asked curiously. 150 kilometers east of my Iron Wolf tribe is a huge mountain range. It's occupied by a group of bandits called Eastern Cloud Stronghold. There are countless experts there who make a living by robbing. I heard that the strongest expert there is a great fake emperor. You people always kill foreigners before robbing. Zifei reminded him softly. Damn, a fake emperor is a bandit. Isn't it a bit of a waste of talent? The parrot was speechless. Yi Qinghan was also speechless. A false emperor could be an elder, or even a supreme elder in a Dao realm Holy Land. Yet he was a bandit in the Eastern Barren Territory. How strong was the Eastern Barren Territory? No wonder the experts of the Imperial region didn't want to come here. It was a bandit's nest. Is there another way to pass through? Yi Qinghan frowned. It was obvious that he didn't want to fight with a fake emperor. The divine martial imperial code was sometimes useful, but sometimes it was asleep. If it fell asleep and couldn't wake up, then it would be impossible to rely on the Dao Si heavenly scripture. This guy was still sulking. Yi Qinghan didn't even give him a chance to cultivate. No, this mountain range is full of bandits. If our tribe wants to enter the city, we have to pay a large amount of spirit crystals and natural treasures before they let us in. Zifei shrugged and replied. Yi Qinghan smiled bitterly. It seemed that he had to sneak into the Iron Wolf tribe and enter the city with the main group. When is the next time the Iron Wolf tribe enters the city? Yi Qinghan asked softly. We enter the city once every half a year. There is still half a month before the next time. Zifei hesitated for a moment, but still told him the specific time. She didn't want to offend such a powerful existence. Half a month wasn't too long. Yi Qinghan thought for a moment and said, Is it possible for your tribe to take us in for a few days? When the time comes, we can enter the city together. I am willing to pay you spirit crystals as repayment. No, my Iron Wolf tribe has never taken in outsiders. In fact, the entire Heavenly Wolf tribe also doesn't take in outsiders. This is an unwritten rule. Zifei rejected Yi Qinghan's request without hesitation. The purple Iron Wolf's big eyes looked around. It pulled on Zifei's clothes and said softly, Sister, he is very powerful. Let him stay and let him teach me the secret technique. No, stop it. Do you want to be beaten? Zifei scolded softly. Sister, we don't have spirit crystals to invite an expert to teach us in the tribe. Now that we have one, you are still unwilling. The purple Iron Wolf was very dissatisfied. The Iron Wolf tribe was only a small branch of the Heavenly Wolf tribe. It was very weak. The strongest person was only a great martial saint. They didn't even have spirit crystals to invite an immortal realm expert to teach their disciples. Now that they had one, they didn't want it. Wasn't it a waste? What do you know? It's not like you don't know that the tribe doesn't allow outsiders to enter the village. If you continue to pester endlessly, be careful that Grandpa Clan Elder will spank you again. Zifei threatened in a soft voice. Although her voice was soft, it couldn't escape Yi Qinghan's ears. However, he didn't say anything. He wanted to sneak into the Iron Wolf tribe now because he wanted to enter the city with them in the future. Otherwise, if he appeared on the day they entered the city, the Iron Wolf tribe wouldn't agree to let him go with them. Look at that big brother. He keeps smiling and is so handsome. He must be a good person. The clan elder trusts you so much. Can't you say a few good words for him? This is related to my future development. If I can really cultivate it, our Iron Wolf tribe won't have to suffer so much. The purple Iron Wolf begged bitterly. It seemed that it really wanted to cultivate the secret technique. Sister, did you forget? A few days ago, the neighboring Iron Tiger tribe bullied us because we didn't have anyone. Their small tribe has an immortal gate cultivator, and we don't. Do you have the heart to? Zifei's expression changed slightly. She hesitated for a moment and looked at Yi Qinghan. She still didn't dare to take the risk. Yi Qinghan was too strong. If he was a bad person, even the clan elder wouldn't be his match. If you agree, I'll be happy to teach your little brother. I promise that I'll nurture him to the great martial saint realm within 15 days as long as he can withstand it. The corners of Yi Qinghan's mouth rose. If the purple iron wolf could really withstand his hellish training, not to mention the great martial saint realm in half a month, he could even reach the immortal gate realm. However, there weren't many people in this world who could withstand his hellish training. Senior, are you serious? Zifei was shocked. If he could cultivate to the great martial saint realm in half a month, wouldn't that alarm the heavenly wolf tribe, and make them take the initiative to bring the iron wolf tribe to cultivate? I'm serious. You can also participate in the training. As long as you can withstand the hardships, reaching the great martial saint realm is actually very easy. Yi Qinghan promised with a smile. Senior, you really won't harm our village, right? Zifei asked cautiously. Ha ha ha, if I wanted to harm you, I wouldn't need to sneak into the tribe. I could instantly flatten this small tribe. I just want to pass through the city to find someone. Yi Qinghan said confidently. Zifei nodded slightly. Yi Qinghan's words weren't false. Even the clan elder wouldn't be able to catch her iron arrow with just 2 fingers. Chapter 336. Zifei's status in the Iron Wolf tribe seemed to be very high. When she received an outsider, the tribal elder actually nodded his head in approval. The hundreds of people in the tribe, big and small, all gathered around as if they were looking at a newly married wife. This made Yi Qinghan baffled. The parrot arrogantly raised its head, attracting many little fellows to chase after it. However, it was so arrogant that it didn't even care about them. Zifei's family only had 3 people. One of them was a middle-aged farmer woman who was very amiable. She didn't treat Yi Qinghan as an outsider, and even specially added 2 more side dishes. Seeing this, the purple iron wolf drooled. It seemed like this family wasn't doing very well. Yi Qinghan simply ate a bit. These dishes didn't have much energy. If he wanted to pass his own hellish training, it seemed like he would have to give these 2 children more food. Eat more. Later, you will say that you are hungry. Yi Qinghan smiled. He would be staying here for half a month anyway. As the saying goes, beat the children on a rainy day. Since he had nothing to do, teaching them a good lesson would be a good choice. At this moment, it was already night. The stars dotted the sky and the moonlight was like water. It poured down on this small tribe like it was daytime. The visibility was very high. After eating and drinking their fill, Zifei and the purple iron wolf were abnormally excited. They wanted to see what kind of secret techniques Yi Qinghan would teach them. The 3 of them arrived at the tribe's martial arts practice field. Yi Qinghan sat in an armchair and said to Zifei and the purple iron wolf, "Each of you choose an iron stone. Carry the stone and run around the martial arts practice field. Do your best and don't force yourself." Ah, Zifei was surprised. What kind of training was this? Only a normal martial master would do this. Yi Qinghan was such a powerful cultivator. He should at least teach them some decent secret techniques. And hurry up and run. Each of you will run 30 laps. Yi Qinghan's aura turned cold. His words were filled with determination. The siblings were startled by his aura. They turned around and each picked up a stone that weighed 250 jin and 100 jin respectively. They felt very relaxed, but before they could lift their legs, Yi Qinghan whispered, "Gravity law, 10 times the gravity." Wah! Boom! Zifei and the purple iron wolf almost fell to the ground. Their legs were as heavy as lead. Let alone running, even walking was difficult. Yi Qinghan smiled faintly and said, "Looks like I'll have to give you guys something extra. Divine bird, breathe fire and chase after them. It's not your fault if they burn to death." The parrot laughed mischievously and shouted, "Understood." Whoosh! The parrot casually spat out a mouthful of fire. The temperature was extremely high. One could feel the terrifying temperature from far away. Zifei felt the danger. She immediately took a step forward and dashed forward. The purple iron wolf turned its head and saw the parrot closing in on it. It couldn't help but shiver. It dropped the stone and rushed out. 100 times gravity. Yi Qinghan muttered once more. The purple iron wolf's body sank, and its speed dropped once more. The parrot unhurriedly followed behind. Whoever lagged behind, it would spit out a mouthful of fire, burning a large hole in the purple iron wolf's butt. It was bright red, and it was even more painful than being hit by an iron plate. You guys can give up. Don't cultivate in the future. Yi Qinghan sat on a wooden armchair with his eyes closed. He seemed to be resting, but he was actually bitterly cultivating the Order Grand Dao. Zifei was still fine. She had suffered the same hardships as Yi Qinghan when he was young. In addition, her cultivation had already reached the Grotto Heaven realm. At this moment, she was clenching her teeth and running for her life. The energy essence in her body was quickly being consumed. The purple iron wolf was in a difficult situation. After all, it was too small. Although it wasn't hugging a stone, it still wasn't easy to run. 1 lap, 2 laps. At the 5th lap, the purple iron wolf was on the verge of collapse. This was simply hell. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to endure it. For it to be able to endure 5 laps, its willpower was quite good. Zifei had already overtaken the purple iron wolf by 1 lap. Seeing that her younger brother was about to give up, she couldn't help but say, "Don't you want to cultivate? Are you going to give up? Do you still want the wish you made when you were young? Let me remind you that Senior's method is very effective. I can feel my strength increasing, rapidly increasing." As Zifei finished speaking, she continued to wildly run. Her energy had dried up, but she was still desperately relying on her willpower. At the 8th lap, her true essence was rapidly restoring itself. The surrounding spiritual energy crazily rushed towards her, drilling into her body on its own accord. Yi Qinghan certainly wouldn't allow them to crazily cultivate like this. This would only consume their root source and wouldn't be beneficial to their future cultivation. Thus, he laid down a massive spirit gathering array around the martial stage. Several hundred high-grade spirit crystals were piled up, and the spiritual energy here was extremely rich. 4 hours later, Zifei was the first to complete her mission. Her true essence was at least 3 times purer than before, and her combat strength had increased by several times. She was particularly excited. She respectfully stood in front of Yi Qinghan and said, "Senior, my mission is complete. Bring a clean wooden barrel and fill it with water." Yi Qinghan calmly ordered without opening his eyes. Zifei left without hesitation. "Fire Crow, give me a drop of blood essence." Yi Qinghan called out the Fire Crow Crown Prince. In terms of bloodline energy, the Fire Crow was the worst, so it was most suitable for this pair of siblings. As for the God-slaying eagle and the multicolored snake, even if their blood essence was diluted several times, it would still instantly erase the vitality of Zifei and the purple iron wolf. The Fire Crow didn't dare to hesitate. He directly forced out a drop of blood essence and gave it to Yi Qinghan. The blood was golden and incomparably smooth, filled with energy. Zifei quickly brought over a barrel of water and respectfully stood beside Yi Qinghan. Yi Qinghan placed the blood essence into the barrel and used his true essence to stir it. Then he said, "Drink a bowl and continue running with the stone. This time, 60 laps must be completed within 2 hours." Zifei could feel that this drop of blood essence was extremely powerful. It was absolutely a treasure, so she drank a bowl without hesitation. A terrifying strength filled her limbs and bones, and her body became several times stronger. There was an inexhaustible strength waiting for her to pour out. Ho! Zifei picked up the iron stone and crazily rushed forwards. Her speed was at least twice as fast as before. Miserable screams constantly echoed throughout the martial stage. The parrot deliberately increased its speed, chasing after the purple iron wolf, and causing him to howl in pain. The speed became faster and faster, to the point that the purple iron wolf was unable to withstand it. "Whoa! Senior, please make that bird slow down." The purple iron wolf's miserable screams were enough to make anyone cry. But these screams also aroused the parrot's interest in tormenting him. Not only did the parrot not slow down, but it actually increased its speed. At this moment, the purple iron wolf understood what a hellish training was. He could fall into hell at any moment. With great difficulty, the purple iron wolf finally completed his mission and collapsed to the ground. But the parrot directly chased after him. It used ordinary flames to spray out, directly igniting the purple iron wolf's, but in causing him to jump 3 feet into the air. "You broken bird, I've already run 30 laps." The purple iron wolf angrily roared. "Drink half a bowl and keep running." Yi Qinghan's aura chilled as he stared at the purple iron wolf. The purple iron wolf was very afraid of Yi Qinghan's gaze. It was too cold, too emotionless, and filled with a callous will. It extinguished the fire on its butt and limped towards the wooden barrel. After drinking half a bowl of diluted blood essence water, its strength suddenly increased several times. It felt like it could punch out with 2,000 genes of strength. It couldn't even feel the pain on its butt. 60 laps in 2 hours. If you're slow for even a single breath, you'll be penalized 60 laps. Yi Qinghan closed his eyes once more. Within his spiritual sea, the miniature person was cultivating with all its might, not slacking off in the slightest. As it ran, the purple iron wolf directly broke through, reaching the blood ignition realm. Whether it was his body or his true essence, both were strengthened by a great deal. At this moment, the purple iron wolf was excited as it felt the benefits. It happily ran, no longer needing the parrot to chase after it. But the parrot sped up. Every time the purple iron wolf sped up, it would always be able to push the purple iron wolf to a new limit. The parrot was addicted to teaching the purple iron wolf a lesson, and even taught Zifei a lesson. Zifei was also driven crazy, constantly breaking through her limits and breaking through small realms, rushing towards the Fate Palace realm. For an entire night, every time they completed a task, they would drink a bowl of diluted blood essence water. The parrot forced the purple iron wolf to the peak of the blood ignition realm, and it went straight towards the heavenly cave realm. As for Zifei, she rushed to the first step of the Fate Palace realm. At this moment, it was already the darkness before dawn. The two of them were progressing very quickly, but their legs were numb and they trembled as they walked, unable to continue. Yi Qinghan felt that it was about time, so he said, "Divide up the last of the water and go back to rest. When the sun rises, I hope you two will arrive at the martial arts arena before me." After Yi Qinghan finished speaking, he turned and walked towards the guest room that the tribe had arranged for him. The siblings' faces were deathly pale. Zifei had never thought that her limit would be like this. Although she was excited, she was also exhausted. Even after drinking a bowl of fire crow blood essence water, she still couldn't recover. All she wanted to do was lie on the ground and sleep. Tisk tsk. You two are too weak. If you can't even endure this little bit of suffering, how can you become a talent? The parrot boasted shamelessly, clicking his tongue in ridicule. The purple iron wolf glared at the parrot. He always felt that this fellow was doing this on purpose. Every time, it would only burn his butt, and it would always be on the same spot. He was already injured, and now he didn't even dare to sit. That kind of heart-wrenching pain caused him to cry. Zifei's fighting spirit was aroused. For better or worse, she was the flower of the tribe within a radius of several hundred miles, and her strength was also the strongest of the younger generation. How could she let a little bird look down on her? She immediately raised her head, pretending that she still had energy left, and walked towards her courtyard. It had to be said that the parrot's trick was quite effective. Even the purple iron wolf was enraged. He carried the wooden bucket and limped towards his room. After returning home, Zifei could no longer pretend. She fell into a deep sleep on her bed. As for the purple iron wolf, he was sobbing in a low voice. He didn't know whether to lie down or lie down. The next day, Zifei woke up early. After washing her face and rinsing her mouth, she felt that her body was strong and healthy. Her strength had increased by dozens of times. The strength of a single arrow was enough to shoot several thousand meters away. At this moment, she no longer dared to doubt Yi Qinghan's hellish training. She forcefully dragged the purple iron wolf to the martial practice field. She discovered that there were already people cultivating there, and Yi Qinghan was walking towards the martial practice field with the parrot. "Senior, good morning," Zifei and the purple iron wolf said in unison. "First run 100 laps. You have 2 hours. After you're done, I'll take you out to hunt. Yi Qinghan said in a deep voice. 100 laps in 2 hours was a relatively fast speed. The two of them didn't hesitate to turn around and rush towards the martial practice field. They ran as if their lives depended on it. Under Yi Qinghan's instructions, the parrot directly flew onto Zifeir's shoulder. It was so heavy that she couldn't move an inch, but she had no choice but to grit her teeth and continue forward. The purple iron wolf let out a breath of turbid air and crazily rushed forward. He was afraid that the parrot would latch onto him. Chapter 337. 2 hours later, many children had gathered around them. Even the adult hunters of the Iron Wolf tribe were attracted. Over the course of a single night, the changes that the siblings had undergone were too shocking. Not only had their cultivation levels undergone earth-shattering changes, even their battle prowess had become completely different. They were very curious about Yi Qinghan's origins, and were even more respectful of him. Yi Qinghan treated them with a smile. After all, he still had a favor to ask of them in half a month. He then led the two kids out of the tribe. Each of them held an iron bow, but did not bring any arrows. They directly entered the forest. Learn to use your quintessential essence reasonably. Use your quintessential essence as arrows and kill 10 desolate beasts of the same realm in 6 hours. Do not waste your quintessential essence because I will not save you if your quintessential essence is exhausted. You should learn to struggle on the edge of death and break through the line between life and death in order to survive. Yi Qinghan said indifferently with his hands behind his back. Zifeir was fine, but the purple iron wolf could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Although he used to yearn to become a powerful hunter and hunt powerful desolate beasts, he was a little afraid without someone to lead him. Go in. I will wait for you here. If you cannot complete the mission in 6 hours, then we will continue for another 6 hours with 10 more desolate beasts. So on and so forth until you complete the mission or die. Yi Qinghan sat cross-legged on a mountain rock. He did not care about them at all, as if he really did not care if they lived or died. Zifeir knew that using quintessential essence as arrows consumed a lot of energy. She could not help but worry about the purple iron wolf. Let's split up. Hurry up. One of us will face south, and the other will face north. Yi Qinghan said indifferently. The two of them walked deeper into the forest. One of them wanted to kill Fate Palace Realm Desolate Beasts, while the other wanted to kill Blood Ignition Realm Desolate Beasts. Besides an iron bow and a dagger, they had nothing else. Divine Bird, you follow the purple iron wolf. Fire Crow, you follow Zifeir. Stir up the desolate beasts around them. Do not interfere unless it is a matter of life and death. Understood. Fire Crow and Divine Bird disguised themselves as ordinary birds and rushed towards the two of them. They stirred up the wind and rain, driving a large number of low-grade desolate beasts around them. The two of them fell into a desperate situation. They rolled on the ground, shuttled through the forest, and fought at close range. Blood splattered everywhere. They wanted to increase the distance between them, but they couldn't. At this moment, the periphery of the forest was like hell. Large numbers of low-ranked beasts had perished, but the injuries they had suffered were not light either. Even if a desolate beast bit them, it was not something they could withstand. Tai Lang did not have any actual combat experience, and was quickly injured. However, the more he fought, the more courageous he became. Dodging and shifting, climbing trees, everything became his life-saving means. Occasionally he would find an opportunity to strike and kill with a single strike. In just a short while he had killed a few inferior ferocious beasts, and a Blood Ignition Realm Desolate beast. Zifei was worthy of being called the most outstanding hunter within a radius of 100 li. Her ability to foresee danger had reached the pinnacle. Her speed was extremely fast, and her attacks were sure to kill. In her hands, she was even more proficient in using the small dagger than a powerful assassin. Yi Qinghan's divine sense covered a radius of 100 miles, and saw her advantage. Sometimes her close-range killing techniques were even better than his. Perhaps this was a life-saving technique that she had honed after so many years of life and death experiences. Assassin's art? Perhaps after practicing it to the pinnacle, I can find another way to prove my Tao. Yi Qinghan pondered for a moment. In the entire imperial region, There was not a single powerful assassin. Only a few small stars would have assassin's art. However, their cultivations were very weak. They only learned assassin's art to kill people and earn money. Yi Qinghan's thoughts lingered in his mind. Speaking of assassin's art, he suddenly thought of a secret technique that was extremely suitable for assassins. Especially for a close-range combat expert like Zifei Heavenly Dragon Coiling Eagle Hand. Zifei and the Purple Iron Wolf both had the sharp insight of a wolf. They also had the explosive strength and endurance of a wolf. Otherwise, they would not have been able to last night. Assassins needed such talent. Wolves were the best assassins in the world. The two of them did not disappoint Yi Qinghan. 2 hours later, the two of them were bathed in a river of blood. Their bodies were covered in wounds. They had killed over a dozen beasts of the same level. Especially Zifei. She had killed nearly all the ferocious beasts that approached her. She brought their demon cores, fur, and flesh back to the edge of the forest. "Senior, I have completed my mission," Zifei said excitedly. "Senior, I have also returned." The Purple Iron Wolf was so confident that he could not tell north from south. This was his first hunt, and he had a bountiful harvest. It seemed like his future would be limitless. "It's too early for you to be happy. What kind of mission is this?" "It's just a warm-up. The next step is that within 2 hours, Zifei, you have to kill a Dao Sovereign Realm wild beast. Purple Iron Wolf, you have to kill a Grotto Heaven Realm ferocious beast." There was no gap between missions. Each mission was more terrifying than the last. This time they could lose their lives at any moment. At this moment, the god-slaying eagle returned to Yi Qinghan's side and bowed. "Master, the location has been chosen. Do you want me to bring them over now?" "Bring them over," Yi Qinghan said indifferently. Shua. The god-slaying eagle grabbed the two and soared into the sky, throwing them into 2 adjacent valleys. Zifei and the Purple Iron Wolf were stunned for a moment. When they looked up, their bodies tensed up. There was a powerful wild beast in front of them. In front of Zifei was a 5th-grade wild beast, the sky-bearing leopard. It was equivalent to a Dao Sovereign Realm beast. In front of the Purple Iron Wolf was a 3rd-grade wild beast, the ordinary Iron Tiger. Roar. The two wild beasts did not give each other a chance to react. They directly pounced over with sharp claws and fangs. Shua. Zifei rolled and dodged with a dagger in her hand. She knelt on one knee and looked at the sky-bearing leopard in front of her. This creature was extremely fast. Its sharp claws were like a 5th-grade top sword. It was indestructible, and there was nothing it could not break. Once it was proven to be an attack, it could instantly kill Zifei. Close-range combat. This was Yi Qinghan's request. Zifei did not compromise. Therefore she did not escape. Vital essence gathered in her body. Her nerves were tense. Her eyes were black and translucent. Her hair fell to her shoulders. Her jade-like hand grasped the dagger tightly and she growled. "Kill." Whoosh, a cold light flashed. Zifei took the initiative to pounce on the sky-bearing leopard. The sky-bearing leopard also suddenly became violent. Its fangs went straight for her head. Its bloody mouth could almost swallow a cow. Zifei bent her legs and slid over the sky-bearing leopard's body. Her dagger fiercely stabbed at the sky-bearing leopard's throat. The sky-bearing leopard's reaction was extremely fast. It suddenly raised its head and dodged the fatal blow. However, Zifei directly flipped her hand and stabbed the dagger into its foreleg in an instant. Puff! The defense of the sky-bearing leopard's inner foreleg was extremely poor. Zifei used all her strength to break the defense. The sky-bearing leopard's blood splattered everywhere. Roar! The sky-bearing leopard roared and screamed. Its movements were restricted. Zifei's manic heart finally calmed down. If she could injure the opponent, she could kill. Yi Qinghan's divine sense covered the 2 valleys. He found that the close-range combat ability of these 2 people was beyond his imagination. They were almost natural hunters. With a little training, Guangzong would definitely have 2 more sharp swords. He could unsheath his sword and cut the throat. Whoosh! Yi Qinghan's hand swiped in the air. A piece of dark gold iron appeared in his hand. The 7th-grade flame source wrapped around it and slowly melted it. The molten iron actually formed two sharp daggers under Yi Qinghan's will. They were slightly longer than an adult's palm. They could be hidden in the sleeves and could be stabbed into the enemy's throat. Yi Qinghan forced out 2 drops of dragon blood and directly poured them into the daggers. The daggers became sentient. Without the smelting divine furnace, Yi Qinghan could refine artifacts. Now he could apply what he learned from the origin of fire and the great Tao of order. The order of all substances had to follow Yi Qinghan's will. The 7th grade flame source continued to burn the daggers. All the impurities were removed. The daggers were sharp enough to cut through iron like mud. They were only slightly weaker than berserk and definitely not weaker than other 7th grade divine weapons. The origin of water, origin of wood, origin of metal, and origin of darkness were all gathered. It also contained a trace of order great Tao and could repair itself. It was definitely extremely powerful. From a certain perspective, its grade was higher than berserk's. After a long time, Yi Qinghan transferred a large amount of water elements to lower the temperature. The daggers were black and shiny. If used at night, the enemy would not be able to detect them at all. Go, Yi Qinghan whispered. His will reached the valley. The 2 daggers broke through time and space and stabbed into the mountain. They did not shatter a single rock, which showed how sharp they were. The wild beast and Zifei both noticed the daggers. They could tell at a glance that they were not ordinary items. They were a fatal threat to them. The purple iron wolf was like a wolf. Its small body easily dealt with the iron tiger's attacks. It slowly retreated in the direction of the daggers. The iron tiger would not allow the little brat in front of it to grab the daggers. Its sharp claws shattered rocks as it pounced towards the purple iron wolf. The iron tiger's speed was extremely fast. The purple iron wolf was in imminent danger and could die at any moment. Although it was shocked, it was not at a loss of what to do. The calmer it was, the greater its chances of survival would be. This kind of child who had lived in the mountains since childhood was very familiar with hunting procedures. He had listened to the experiences of his parents since he was young. The purple iron wolf paid no attention to the iron tiger and directly pounced towards the daggers. By the time its small hand grabbed the daggers, the iron tiger had already arrived in front of it. Logically speaking, it should have rolled forward, but according to this line of thought, its speed would not be faster than the iron tiger's, and it would only fall into the tiger's mouth. The purple iron wolf did the opposite and directly rolled towards the iron tiger. One was moving forward, while the other was retreating. The man and tiger crossed each other, only a hair's breadth away. The purple iron wolf's entire body trembled, but it still grinned. In another valley, Zifei stepped on a rock and pulled out her daggers. A gale swept past her from behind, causing her back to feel a stabbing pain. Her legs constantly climbed up, and with a somersault she leapt into the air. Her head was facing downwards, and the daggers stabbed towards the sky-high leopard's back without hesitation. Pooch roar! The sky-high leopard cried out in pain, and increased its speed to escape. The daggers had directly cut open its back, causing blood to immediately flow out. It had almost been split in 2 by the daggers. Boom! Zifei's feet landed on the ground. Taking advantage of the situation, she chased after it. The daggers were incomparably sharp. They broke through the air and instantly cut open the sky-high leopard's right hind limb. The sky-high leopard cried out again. Its hind limbs were powerless, and it directly fell to the ground. Zifei did not hesitate to stab the daggers into the sky-high leopard's throat. With a forceful swipe, the sky-high leopard's head was lifted up by her and separated from its body. Blood poured out, and the vigorous essence blood was like a flame burning her body. Her fine white skin instantly turned crimson red, and the heart-wrenching pain caused her to almost faint. In another valley, the purple iron wolf was dragging the huge iron tiger and rushing back, grinning. Big sister, I killed an iron tiger. It's worth dozens of low-grade spirit crystals, ha ha. Chapter 338. Outside the forest, Yi Qinghan looked at the excited siblings, and the corners of his mouth slightly rose. Laugh for a while, you won't be able to laugh later. The parrot looked at Yi Qinghan's strange smile, and knew that these 2 little guys were going to be miserable. Zifei and Purple Iron Wolf immediately calmed down, and looked at Yi Qinghan with a worried expression. If I take you out of this tribe, and go to the outside world to develop, and climb to the top of the great Tao, are you willing to go? Yi Qinghan asked in a low voice. I am willing to go. Purple Iron Wolf had obtained benefits, so how could he be willing to leave Yi Qinghan? Zi Feier was very mature, and after hesitating for a moment, she raised her head and asked in a dignified manner. Can I take my mother with me? I don't feel at ease leaving her alone in the tribe. Yi Qinghan nodded. It was just an old woman, and Guangzong could still take care of her. As long as they took away these two swords, there would be no problem. Zi Feier and Purple Iron Wolf's combat ability was superb. And no matter how good a person's talent was, without combat ability, they were all trash. Then I am also willing to go. Zi Feier nodded and said seriously. Yi Qinghan was very satisfied, not only because Zi Feier and Purple Iron Wolf were willing to go, but also because Zi Feier was very filial, and she would not betray him in the future. Have you killed anyone? Yi Qinghan indifferently asked. Zi Feier and Purple Iron Wolf's complexion slightly changed. They were just ordinary tribesmen. How could they have killed anyone? Hua. Yi Qinghan instantly invaded their sea of consciousness and made them fall into an illusion. The Iron Wolf tribe was massacred, their mother died tragically, and their clansmen were killed. Their faces were ferocious, and they crazily rushed into the battlefield to kill their enemies. Their inch-long swords were used to cut the throats of their enemies, and the dark element instantly erased their life force. They fought all the way, and their killing was unparalleled. Suddenly, the entire Iron Wolf tribe was turned into a hell on earth, and bones were piled up like mountains and blood flowed like a river. After a long time, Yi Qinghan stopped controlling their sea of consciousness and let them out of the illusion. Zi Feier and Purple Iron Wolf's stomach churned, and they wanted to vomit, and their faces were deathly pale. What does it feel like to kill people? If you can end this catastrophe ahead of time, will you kill these enemies without hesitation? Yi Qinghan asked calmly. The two of them nodded without hesitation. The strong are destined to advance by stepping on corpses. Killing one is a sin, killing 10,000 is a hero. Killing 1,000,000 along the way, then you can save the entire endless universe. Of course, when I say kill, I'm not talking about killing the innocent. I'm talking about killing the enemy. Regardless of whether there is hatred or not, the enemy is the enemy. Yi Qinghan's aura sank as he spoke coldly. The two of them didn't seem to understand, but they kept nodding their heads. I'll teach you a secret technique. It's a close-range combat technique, Heavenly Dragon Eagle Binding Hands. Yi Qinghan slowly got up and began to use the Heavenly Dragon Coiling Eagle Hands. This set of movements was slow and orderly, like moving clouds and flowing water. It seemed light and powerless, but in reality it was impossible to shake it off. Zi Feier and the Purple Iron Wolf widened their eyes as they stared intently at Yi Qinghan. They watched as his speed became faster and faster. His body was like a heavenly dragon, like a coiling snake. His large hands could instantly burst out with terrifying strength that could pierce through space and time. Yi Qinghan repeated it 3 times, and the two of them memorized it by heart. Learn it in 2 hours and comprehend the profoundness within it. Yi Qinghan said calmly. This was a difficult and dry secret technique. Even the elites of the elites might not be able to learn it in 2 hours. Yi Qinghan obviously didn't expect the two of them to learn it, but they had to at least understand the profoundness of this secret technique, as well as the close-range combat techniques. The two of them began to cultivate at the same time. They treated each other as their opponents and fought in a decent manner. Yi Qinghan gestured for the god-slaying eagle to search for more desolate beasts. He was prepared to polish these 2 sharp swords. Whoosh! Yi Qinghan suppressed Zi Feier's realm and coldly said, You are opponents, enemies. Use your full strength and kill. Don't worry, I won't die in front of you. If you aren't willing to work hard, the people you care about will die in the hands of others. Zi Feier and the Purple Iron Wolf had complete faith in Yi Qinghan. They instantly attacked each other. Daggers constantly slashed across their throats and chests. The situation was precarious. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Learn how to control your quintessential essence. Learn how to use the least amount of quintessential essence to erupt with the greatest strength. These are not things that I can teach you. They are things that you will comprehend when you are on the brink of life and death. The heavenly dragon coiling eagle hands contains the inch strike technique, coiling, sticking, speed, space, and various other profoundness. Once you learn them, you will be able to jump realms to fight at close range. Yi Qinghan's training methods were extremely cruel. As he said, this was a hellish training where one could die at any moment. The two of them became increasingly fast. They attacked, cut throats, blocked, attacked, dodged, twisted, coiled, stuck, and erupted with the inch strike technique. After images constantly appeared, and their combat strength rapidly rose. Their quintessential essence became purer, and the speed at which it was consumed also slowed down. Yi Qinghan held his hands behind his back. He was very satisfied as he saw their rapid progress. As long as their realms could keep up, he believed that these two ordinary mortal bodies wouldn't be any worse than those with special constitutions. Once they fought in close range, it was unknown just who would live and who would die. An hour later, the two of them had skillfully used the heavenly dragon coiling eagle hands. The speed at which they comprehended it far surpassed Yi Qinghan's imagination. To fight in close range, not only do you need to have better combat skills than others, but you also need to have the ability to resist. Otherwise, if you can stab someone 10 times and they don't die, then you will die with a single punch. What is the point of fighting then? Come here and eat these 2 pills. I don't want you to increase your realms. Use them to temper your quintessential essence, body, and organs. Yi Qinghan summoned the 2 little guys and took out 2 fifth-grade pills. He directly injected them into their bodies and took the initiative to help them suppress their realms. No matter how much quintessential essence surged in their bodies, it couldn't shake the shackles. Their qi seas were constantly opened up. Their quintessential essence was pure, tearing their bodies apart and causing blood to flow. Yi Qinghan allowed them to develop on their own. He didn't help to repair them. The two of them enjoyed the pain. Their bodies and quintessential essence had undergone a qualitative change. Their qi seas had become vast and boundless. Boom! Blood flowed like 10,000 horses galloping, rushing to their limbs and bones. Their faces twisted, but their yearning for power made them endure. They allowed their blood to gush out, and their blood cells to madly produce blood. As long as they could endure this, they would definitely be reborn. The god-slaying eagle returned. Seeing that the 2 kids could actually withstand Yi Qinghan's hellish training, it couldn't help but nod in appreciation. After another hour, Yi Qinghan felt that their bodies and blood had been transformed to the peak. Even their qi seas didn't increase. He released the suppression. The purple iron wolf instantly broke through the grotto heaven realm and Zifei, or entered the second step of the Fate Palace realm. Take them to train. Today we have to kill 10 cross-level ferocious beasts, Yi Qinghan said and disappeared into a forest. He cultivated the order Dao and comprehended the precepts. The order near the Iron Wolf tribe was changing, and so was the fate. Yi Qinghan stood on the peak of the mountain, his clothes fluttering. The little people in his consciousness were cultivating various powerful secret techniques, while his real body only studied the order Dao. The order was gradually becoming clear. Yi Qinghan glanced around. The mountains moved, the trees withered, and a grain of sand could fill a mountain range. Everything was silent. After a long time, Yi Qinghan's soul was tired and his spiritual energy was exhausted. He had to sit cross-legged on the ground to cultivate the origin of the Tao, which required a strong spiritual energy as support. While recovering his spiritual energy, Yi Qinghan didn't want to waste time. He summoned his divine bow and continuously pulled the bowstring. Although he could only pull the bowstring in a half-moon shape, he improved a little with each pull. His azure dragon arm tightened, and his vital essence roared. Whoosh! Yi Qinghan's vital essence condensed into a small arrow, carrying a strand of his consciousness to the sky above untainted land. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared into nothingness. His consciousness flew higher and higher, until it reached the peak of the firmament. What's at the end of the universe? Yi Qinghan indifferently sensed everything that the strand of consciousness saw. It was a silent void. The arrow brushed past the edge of the stars and gradually disappeared. It was said that the great emperor was powerful and supreme, the number 1 person in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. However, no one had ever reached the other side of the universe. What was at the deepest part of the universe? Even the great emperor didn't know. If the universe had an edge, what was beyond the universe? Yi Qinghan had thought about it before, but it was too far-fetched to think about it now. This was because even the great emperor couldn't step onto the edge of the universe, much less him, who was only at the 5th stage of the immortal gate. At noon, Yi Qinghan roasted some desolate beast meat. The meat was filled with the power of untainted land. These bloodlines had been passed down for a long time, and had never intermarried with the races of the outside world. They were the purest desolate beasts. The two little guys ate a lot. The consumption of energy in the morning was unimaginable. If they didn't replenish their qi and blood, they would consume their origin qi and blood. This would be a fatal blow to their future growth. Zifei looked at Yi Qinghan expectantly. She hoped that there would be a better training plan in the afternoon. This kind of training could not only increase her strength, but also allow her to hunt. The desolate beasts that she had hunted in the morning were enough for her to work for half a year. It could sustain her family for a long time. The purple iron wolf ate a lot of meat. He wiped his mouth and said excitedly, "Senior, I killed a Fate Palace realm desolate beast." "Don't be proud. This is nothing. There are still 9 more desolate beasts in the afternoon." Yi Qinghan replied indifferently. After eating, Yi Qinghan taught them how to restrain their aura and conceal their presence. Stir up the desolate beasts in the periphery, and form a beast tide of a certain scale. Throw the 2 of them in. After Yi Qinghan finished speaking, he went to cultivate alone. The rest of the matters were left to the parrot and the god-slaying eagle. Beast tide? Zifei was shocked. Even if it was a normal beast tide, it would require a few tribes to work together to repel it. Yi Qinghan wanted a beast tide of a certain scale. Wouldn't it be chaos? The god-slaying eagle only followed orders. A large number of desolate beasts rushed over from the depths. The weakest one was a 3rd-grade desolate beast at the Grotto Heaven realm. Most of them were 4th-grade desolate beasts. There were also quite a number of low-grade desolate beasts. Fire Crow and Divine Bird each guarded one person. They desperately increased their training intensity and angered the desolate beasts at all costs. They increased the intensity of their hellish training, so that they could feel the threat of death and be mentally tense. Several tribes outside noticed the beast tide, and sent people to investigate. However, they were chased away by the god-slaying eagle. The 2 of them cultivated hard for an entire afternoon. They were physically and mentally exhausted and had wounds all over their bodies. However, these injuries were nothing to Yi Qinghan. He could heal them with a wave of his hand. Within a day, the purple iron wolf had reached the 2nd step of the Grotto Heaven realm, while Zifei had reached the 3rd step of the Fate Palace realm. Their combat strength had increased by more than 1,000-fold. Zifei had even obtained a 6th-grade elixir that was priceless. The conflict between the 2 sides had been going on for a long time. "So it's you from the Iron Tiger tribe. Please forgive me for not coming out to greet you. What brings you here today?" The tribe elder's heart sank. He knew something bad had happened. "Of course we are here for the triennial martial arts competition. The Golden Crow tribe, the Iron Tiger tribe, the Iron Wolf tribe and the Golden Snake tribe. The triennial martial arts competition is about to start. This year, it is my Iron Tiger tribe's turn to host. I specially came to ask Elder Tai to draft a list of names, so that I can submit it." The Iron Tiger tribe's elder, Hukuan, said with a smile. "Isn't there still 2 months before it starts?" The clan elder frowned and asked. "Haha, I am sorry. I forgot to inform you. After the Golden Crow tribe, the Golden Snake tribe, and my Iron Tiger tribe's discussion, it has been brought forward by 2 months." Hukuan's voice was like a large bell. His eyes flashed with disdain as he said indifferently, "In fact, the Iron Wolf tribe has been at the bottom for the past few decades. It is the same whether we prepare or not. Why does Elder Tai have to worry about when it will start?" The Iron Wolf tribe's people were furious. The martial arts competition was made up of 4 tribes. They had actually brought forward the competition, and did not inform the Iron Wolf tribe. The clan elder frowned. The Golden Crow tribe, the Iron Tiger tribe, and the Golden Snake tribe were the strongest tribes within 100 li radius. They had always been arrogant, but this time they had gone too far. The time is set to 3 days later. You guys draw up a name list, and let me bring it back. Hukuan said arrogantly. The clan elder took a deep breath. After all, an arm could not win against a leg. At this time, he could only endure. Taifeng, write down the names of Zifei, Tailang, Taichue, Taijun, and Taimu and give them to Elder Hukuan. The clan elder said coldly. Yo, the Iron Wolf tribe still can't gather 10 people to participate this year? Every year, the individual team is always at the bottom. I think there is no need for them to participate next time. A young man behind Hukuan mocked with disdain. What did you say? Huku, this year I will beat you until you look for your teeth on the ground. Zifei scolded coldly. Tisk tsk. 3 years ago, you were still a little brat. I am already one of the top 10 experts of the younger generation. This year, you want to beat me until I look for my teeth on the ground? All right, I will accompany you anytime. Huku said disdainfully. Tailang also glared at the young men behind Hukuan. Looking at their provocative gazes, he wanted to explode and stab them with his dagger. Hukuan pretended not to see the provocation of the children behind him. With a flash of light he said, Elder Tai, this time the Iron Wolf tribe obtained a 6th rank elixir. Why don't you use it as a reward? It can also motivate the fighting spirit of the young people within 100 li radius. I believe Elder Tai will definitely not disappoint me. When I return, I will definitely ask the Golden Crow Upper Clan for a reward. The clan elder and the other members of the Iron Wolf tribe were furious. In the past, the most rewards were 4th rank weapons or pills. Only the Golden Crow Upper Clan would give out 5th rank pills. What right did the Iron Wolf tribe have to give out a 6th rank elixir? However, before the clan elder could reply, Hukuan took the name list and left with a few disciples, not giving them the chance to refuse at all. If this was reported to the Golden Crow Upper Clan, then it would be an ironclad matter. Offending the Golden Crow Upper Clan, even if it was a side branch, was not something that the Iron Wolf tribe could withstand. Yi Qinghan smiled slightly. This kind of thing was very normal. It could be seen everywhere. Different clans would always have competition. Suppressing one's opponent was something humans loved to do the most. Zifei's expression was ugly. She felt that she had caused trouble. She could not help but look at Yi Qinghan, hoping that he could come up with a foolproof plan. It's fine as a reward. Don't tell me you don't have the confidence to get first place? Yi Qinghan indifferently replied. The Golden Crow Upper Clan, Iron Tiger Tribe, and Golden Snake Tribe all have great revered experts in their younger generation. We have always had. Zifei bitterly smiled. In 3 days, no matter how strong she was, it was impossible for her to win against a great revered expert. It doesn't matter. We will know in 3 days. Go back and eat, then continue cultivating at night. Yi Qinghan disdained. If the disciples he had personally trained could not win against a great revered expert, then they might as well smash their heads into a wall and die. What was the point of seeking revenge? After dinner, the clan elder brought Taijun, Taimu, and Taichue over. Senior, I wonder if you can train the 3 of them a little? Perhaps they can all enter the preliminaries. The clan elder respectfully said. Then they can all come together. It's fine as long as they can endure. If they can't, then I won't help them. Yi Qinghan was indifferent. Training 1 was training, training 2 was also training. Helping them could be considered repaying their kindness. The group of people arrived at the martial arts arena. The parrot and fire crow especially gave Zifei and her brother more food. That kind of suffering was not something an ordinary person could endure. Taijun and the others felt their hair stand on end. Yi Qinghan proceeded step by step. Starting from 10 times the gravity, he tempered their bodies and strength. The 5 of them ran with all their might on the martial arts arena, while carrying large rocks. No one wanted to fall behind. Even so, the parrot and fire crow still breathed fire and chased after them. Often, the fire would burn their butts, and their screams would resound throughout the tribe, attracting the attention of the crowd. The group of children were treated as iron-blooded men by the parrot and fire crow. They were severely ravaged. Tai Jun and the other children's parents felt their hearts ache as they watched. This time, Yi Qinghan had people bring 2 buckets of water. One bucket was filled with the blood essence of the god-slaying eagle, and the other with the blood essence of the fire crow. Both were diluted 1,000 times. They were to be drunk once every 2 hours, and there was only 1 bowl at a time. The 5 children were drilled like this for 10 hours. Tai Jun and the others immediately went limp, and Yi Qinghan had their parents bring them back. Only Zifei, and her younger brother remained where they were. I will teach you a set of secret footwork technique, the extreme divine dragon steps. If you can cultivate it to the small success stage, I can guarantee you the championship. Yi Qinghan pointed at the void, and passed the secret technique of the extreme divine dragon steps to the 2 of them. Time was tight, so he even gave them his own cultivation experience, allowing Zifei, and Taijun to cultivate with twice the result with half the effort. The 2 of them cultivated with all their might on the martial arts arena. Their speed was so fast that they almost left the ground and flew. Xiao xiao xiao. The dagger was integrated into the heavenly dragon coiling eagle hands. With the support of the extreme divine dragon steps, its speed was even faster, and its combat strength was even stronger. As long as there was enough time, it would be easy to jump ranks and kill people. 6 hours later, the sky was already bright. Zifei, and Tai Lang had not rested for the entire night. Although they were tired, they were even more excited. Yi Qinghan woke up from his meditation and whispered, "Divine bird, teach them tactics. Teach them how to kill people silently. I believe you are the best at this." Ahem. The parrot was embarrassed. Yi Qinghan's words were definitely calling it the most shameless. However, it was also a compliment. The parrot automatically filtered the words and only chose the best ones. "No problem. Leave it to me. As long as it is not an expert from the immortal sex, I can kill them instantly." The parrot promised. After Hu Kuan returned, he immediately went to the Golden Crow Upper Clan. This was a branch of the Golden Crow clan. They were very strong and had an expert in the peak stage of the divine martial realm. The Golden Crow clan was a very ancient clan. They had the Golden Crow as their guardian totem. This clan was the strongest in the Eastern Barren continent. A single branch of the clan could wipe out an entire region. If they were the main clan, they could even take over the top 10 clans. The Golden Crow Lion was a branch elder of the Golden Crow clan. He was in charge of external affairs. This person had a pair of shiny black eyes. His cultivation was extremely high. He was already an expert in the early stage of the divine martial realm. He dominated a region. Even the bandits of the Eastern Cloud Stronghold had to give him some face. Taoist Lion, I have already brought the name list. Also, I know that the Iron Wolf tribe has obtained a 6th grade medicinal herb. They are also willing to contribute to the younger generation within a few hundred miles. They will take it out as the reward for the first place. What do you think? Hu Kuan smiled and said faintly. The Golden Crow Lion was stunned. A 6th grade medicinal herb was priceless. Even he would be greedy for it. However, the Iron Wolf tribe did not keep it. Instead, they agreed to take it out as the reward. Looking at Hu Kuan's expression, he knew what was going on. However, he did not expose him. After all, the first place would definitely belong to the Golden Crow clan. Thank you, Taoist Hu Kuan. Let's talk in the living room. The Golden Crow Lion's expression was serious. He was not happy because of a 6th grade medicinal herb. It seemed like something big was going to happen. Chapter 340. Yi Qinghan sat cross-legged in the guest room, and his divine sense gradually expanded. He realized that he could not fly in the eastern wilderness, and even his divine sense was restricted. Outside the eastern wilderness, his divine sense could cover at least 5,000 miles. But here, it was extremely difficult to cover more than 50 miles. This Golden Crow Tharch is really unbelievable. He can actually change the order of the entire eastern wilderness. This is clearly not a curse, but the Tao of order. He changed the order of this place. Yi Qinghan sighed softly. He was impressed by the Golden Crow Thearch's strength. Such an existence would definitely fight against the heavens and earth, and change the fate of the world with his own strength. Yi Qinghan's divine sense kept expanding outwards. When it reached the upper Golden Crow tribe, it was already the limit. He just happened to catch Hukuren's figure, but he could not hear what they were saying at all. It was very vague. Whoosh! Yi Qinghan took a deep breath, held his breath, and focused his mind. His mental energy kept rising, and he was getting closer and closer to the inner part of the Golden Crow tribe. In the upper Golden Crow tribe, the Golden Crow Lion and Hukuen sat in the living room. The Golden Crow Lion's face was gloomy. "Brother Lion, why are you so depressed? Did something big happen?" Hukuen asked curiously. The Golden Crow Lion sighed. Eastern Cloud Camp had a conflict with other camps and suffered heavy losses. They want to force it on us and ask us to make up for the losses. This is not something that can be solved with a few 6th grade herbs. Hukuen was shocked. The bandits at Eastern Cloud Camp were not to be trifled with. Even if a few tribes worked together, they would not be a match for them. "Brother Lion, what do they want?" Hukuen's face was ugly as he asked. 1,000,000 superior grade spirit crystals, 100,000 superior grade herbs, 1,000 5th grade and above herbs, 36th grade herbs, and 40 young women. 300 slaves. The Golden Crow Lion clenched his fists as a fierce look flashed across his eyes. "They're too much. Are they treating us like pigs that can be slaughtered?" Hukuen roared angrily. "They were too greedy. I even brought up our Golden Crow Sacred Tribe before they agreed to reduce the number of 6th grade herbs to 10. Even so, with so many treasures, it would take us a year to gather dozens of small tribes. Which tribe would be willing to give us slaves and young women?" The Golden Crow Centipede said coldly. "If it doesn't work out, why don't we offer some elixirs and let the higher-ups come down to negotiate with Eastern Cloud Village? At the very least, we should exempt the young women and slaves. Whose child is not made of meat? How can we hand them over to the Eastern Cloud Stronghold? Who doesn't know that the people of the Eastern Cloud Stronghold are cruel and merciless? They can torture people to death," Hukuen said with a frown. "That's what I'm thinking too. Although the Golden Crows are only a branch family, we won't hand our people over to the Eastern Cloud Stockade. We can't back down no matter what. But the people over at the Eastern Cloud Stockade, I'm worried that will anger them. Once the higher-ups come and deal with it, they'll agree for now. But when they leave, they'll be furious and slaughter all of our tribes. They don't have a fixed residence and can move their territory at any time. We can't afford to offend them." The two fell silent. They didn't know what to do. Yi Qinghan frowned slightly. He covered the area with his divine sense and said secretly, "What do these bandits want with slaves? Do they want to open a mine?" The Golden Crow Lion paused for a moment and growled angrily. "They want the slaves to be at least in the Grotto Heaven realm. The women must be at least 16 years old and above. Their cultivation can be a bit weak. With so many people, where am I supposed to find them?" Hukuen's eyes flashed and he said seriously, "Fellow Taoist Lion, why don't we share them with the smaller tribes? Each tribe can provide 2 women at least 16 years old and 10 slaves. There are more than 20 smaller tribes around us. If we pool them together, we can still do it. At most, we won't ask them to pay spirit crystals. If they have high-level elixirs, we'll buy them. I've calculated. It's not enough. I've checked all the surrounding tribes. We still need the 4 major tribes to make up for it. At least 1/3 of it," the Golden Crow Lion said in a low voice. Hukuen smiled and said in a low voice, "Fellow Taoist Lion, you must be joking. There are no 4 major tribes. If the Iron Wolf tribe didn't have the Heavenly Wolf tribe behind them, we wouldn't have allowed them to be on equal footing. This time we're in trouble. Why don't we start with them and let them pay for the rest? Otherwise, we'll push all the responsibility to the Iron Wolf tribe and let the people from Eastern Cloud Village deal with them. I'll see if the Heavenly Wolf tribe will speak up for them." Yi Qinghan's divine sense moved. His mental energy fluctuated greatly and immediately alerted the Golden Crow Lion. "Who is it? Come out for me." The Golden Crow Lion's aura fluctuated. Boiling hot energy rushed in all directions. Yi Qinghan's mental energy seemed to have been attacked. He felt a sharp pain and hurriedly withdrew his divine sense. His face was pale. The Golden Crow Lion's mental energy is so strong. It can actually detect and attack me. Yi Qinghan clenched his fists. Listening to their discussion, he felt a little depressed. He had to intervene in this matter. Otherwise, if they were allowed to trample on the Iron Wolf tribe, Zephyr and the Purple Iron Wolf wouldn't be able to escape. Yi Qinghan's divine sense probed the divine martial imperial codex. He realized that it had been in a daze ever since it came here. He couldn't help but sigh. It seems like I can only rely on the palatial Buddha pagoda and the divine bow. I have to kill the fake emperor from Eastern Cloud Village first. Yi Qinghan gritted his teeth. However, it wasn't that easy to deal with a fake emperor. If Yi Qinghan was at the divine martial perfection stage, he might still have some confidence. With a sneak attack and a pseudo-extreme Dao Imperial Codex, he could definitely kill him. However, his opponent was a fake emperor. Whether it was divine sense or observation, he wasn't on the same level as a divine martial expert. Yi Qinghan thought for a long time, but still couldn't come up with a foolproof plan. This time he had to kill the fake emperor. However, Yi Qinghan wouldn't fight to the death with the fake emperor just because of the Iron Wolf tribe. Yi Qinghan encountered difficulties in the eastern wastelands. The human race in the imperial domain didn't have it easy either. Even the myriad races were struggling. The hidden experts were powerful. The vast continent was boundless. Even the ancient massacre god couldn't do anything about it. There was no order. Tens of thousands of creatures were crying. Countless weak forces were uprooted. Female cultivators were forcefully abducted. There were corpses everywhere. The people of the Kuang sect were furious, but couldn't say anything. It was already difficult for them to protect themselves, let alone take the initiative to attack. The 10 Dao realm sacred grounds didn't have any boundary emperors. Right now their foundation was even weaker than some super sections. The Great Buddha Golden Temple still had a boundary emperor. However, they didn't dare to fight with so many hidden experts. But on this day, the ancient killing god suddenly issued an order. He ordered all the hunters and the ancient killing god to gather together and kill all the experts of the hidden forces in the imperial domain. From the imperial princes to the ordinary disciples, anyone who broke the law and brought disaster to the region would be killed without mercy. Many Dao realm sacred grounds were shocked. The ancient massacre god didn't have a boundary emperor anymore. If he issued such an order, wouldn't he be destroyed? In the imperial domain, within the territory of the ancient massacre god, a large number of experts gathered. There were hundreds of thousands of hunters. All of them were battle kings of their own domain. The ancient massacre god was even above the 5th immortal realm. Even some people of the Kuang sect came out of seclusion and obeyed the ancient massacre god's order. Who issued the god-killing order? The heavenly palace god stepped into the main hall of the hunters and asked. The commander of the ancient massacre god, Yan Yunbei, was wearing a black killing robe. The 7-star killing robe fluttered. He looked very young and handsome. At this moment, he was holding a golden dagger and a short blade. So it's Commander Yan Yunbei. You issued the god-killing order? The heavenly palace god was shocked. This Commander Yan Yunbei was a supreme existence who had self-proclaimed himself 1,000 years ago. He entered the god martial realm at a young age, and his combat strength was among the top tier. He was truly invincible among those of the same realm. However, with his strength, he couldn't lead the ancient massacre god to sweep across the battlefield. If he killed the chief disciples of some sects, those hidden experts would definitely appear, and the ancient massacre god would be in danger. It wasn't me. The god-killing order flew out automatically and woke me up from my slumber. I'll follow your orders. Yan Yunbei's voice was deep and majestic. He was just like a young great emperor. Heavenly palace god, listen to my orders. I order you, Feng Sha, Gu Qingyu Muyu, and Tianchen to be the deputy commanders. Xia Qiyue will be the military advisor. I want you to reorganize the ancient massacre god and the hunters. Kill all the troublemakers, including the top-tier experts. If you encounter an expert that you can't resist, you can send a message to me. Today the ancient massacre god will start a massacre. The heavenly palace god was shocked. The ancient massacre god killing order could only be activated by an expert. Why would it fly out on its own? Could it be that the ancient massacre god still had a quasi-emperor? I'll follow your orders, but please allow me to ask a question. After all, this is a matter of life and death for the ancient massacre god. The heavenly palace god asked in a deep voice. Yes. Yin Yunbei said indifferently. May I ask, where did the god-killing order come from? Does the ancient massacre god still have a quasi-emperor? If not, isn't it suicide to counterattack it this time? The heavenly palace god stared at Yin Yunbei. He didn't dare to be careless. Yin Yunbei also frowned. He had just woken up, so he didn't know what had happened. He only knew that the god-killing order had given him an order. It was a decree to the whole world that those who caused chaos would be killed without mercy. He had investigated the current experts and issued the order. I don't know, but the god-killing order has been issued. The ancient massacre god won't regret even if he dies. Now, you only need to follow the order. If a fake emperor comes out to deal with him, I will take action. Yin Yunbei paused for a moment, and said in a serious voice. Xia Qiyue didn't understand the ancient massacre god killing order, but the heavenly palace god, who had grown up in the ancient massacre god, knew that it could give such an order. It meant that there was a hidden expert in the ancient massacre god, who hadn't shown himself yet. Once a quasi-emperor killed the ancient massacre god, he would definitely take action. No matter who the quasi-emperor was, the quasi-emperor of the ancient massacre god was the sky. Brother Xia, you know the imperial domain like the back of your hand. How do you think we should take action? The heavenly palace god stared at Xia Qiyue. As the crown prince of the Sky Dragon Sacred Dynasty, Xia Qiyue's combat strength might not be unparalleled. However, his ability to lead troops in battle was something that even if the heavenly palace god, Feng Sha, Gu Qingyu, and the others joined forces, they might not be his match. Xia Qiyue couldn't bear it anymore. Since the ancient massacre god wanted to attack the hidden aristocratic families, he would add fuel to the fire. He hoped that this fire could completely awaken the human race. Learn to resist. Chapter 341. At the center of the imperial domain, the ancient massacre gods had gathered. The army was divided into 4 groups, with 4 experts as the vanguard and Xia Qiyue in the center. Xia Ziluo came out of seclusion. Zhang Ge joined the ancient massacre gods after being repaired, and Lin Aoqiong, Duge Beitian, and Xiao Yuni came out of the Aeon battlefield. In order to train the younger generation, Gu Qingyu pulled Di Longtian, Lin Wutian, and Huang Xiaohu into the army. Even Yi Mingxi and Jin Yan were dragged out of seclusion to protect them. With the army as the base, they were the vanguard. They would only fight if they encountered a strong opponent. On this day, hundreds of thousands of soldiers took control of the imperial domain. Apart from the Eastern Baron, the flames of war were ignited everywhere. The Desire God sect was known as the Sage Assembly Manor, and was one of the 8 divisions of Yin and Yang. Although they claimed that they were there to prove their Tao through battle, the truth was that they were there to oppress all living things. As long as the sage monarchs and the imperial clans weren't harmed, they would turn a blind eye. Burning, killing, and looting were everywhere. A large number of supreme treasures were changing owners. Some humans took the opportunity to stir up trouble. Just as they were in the middle of a killing spree, a large number of ancient massacre gods and hunters appeared. They didn't even ask who was behind them. If they were the followers of a powerful expert, they would kill them directly. Kill them. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, Pucci sword lights and saber shadows flashed, stealing people's souls. These ordinary disciples were at least at the immortal gate level, and were disciples of hidden sections. Their battle prowess was definitely not weak, but in the face of dozens of ancient massacre gods, they didn't even have a chance to fight back. Outside Half Moon City, a branch of the insane sect was stationed, the Jade Lady Sword sect. Some of the hidden sects didn't care about the insane sect, and directly attacked the Jade Lady Sword sect. Fortunately, the sect's protective grand formation had been personally set up by the insane sect's elders. It blocked the attacks, but the situation was not good. Ha ha ha, I've heard that this Jade Lady Sword sect is a branch of the Crazy sect. They even received a lot of support from the Crazy sect, and obtained a lot of treasures. Occupying it, what bullshit Crazy sect? I've never heard of it. The Een Evil Valley was another powerful hidden sect. At this moment, more than 10 immortal sect disciples were besieging the Jade Lady Sword sect. Beside them, there were also a few local sects' silk pants. They were immensely proud of themselves. Now that the local sects were weak, the hidden sects had seized the opportunity to wantonly seize the treasures of the major sects and force them to swear allegiance. Those who did not swear allegiance, if they could kill them, they would kill them. If they could not kill them, they would surround them. Esteemed Master Xie, I've heard that there are many young ladies in this sect who are as pure as ice and as pure as jade. Recently, they've even recruited many female rogue cultivators who can't protect themselves. Their cultivations aren't bad, and all of them are as beautiful as flowers. A local dandy bowed and curried favor as he spoke flatteringly. And don't worry. Later, I'll reward each of you with 1 spirit crystal. You can take as many spirit crystals as you want. I'll definitely not mistreat any disciple who joins the Evil Valley. Xie Yuxing lazily said. Thank you, esteemed master. Those local silk pants looked at each other and smiled. Boom. A sword pierced through the mountains and rivers. It was cold and domineering. Murderous chi shot out in all directions. In a flash, more than 10 disciples who were attacking the Jade Lady Sword sect were killed. Blood dyed the great formation red. The gate of the Jade Lady Sword sect was filled with corpses. Xie Yuxing was furious. He coldly shouted, Impudent! Who dares to attack my Evil Valley? Get out here! Humph, what is Evil Valley? How dare you attack a branch of the crazy sect? Lin Wutian held his sword and rushed over. His aura was monstrous and oppressive. Xie Yuxing and the other silk pants' faces changed greatly. They were constantly forced to retreat. A little kid who's still wet behind the ears dares to be so arrogant. Don't you know that my master Lung Xie of the Evil Valley is a super expert? He can destroy the entire crazy sect by himself. Xie Yuxing used the name of the expert behind him to intimidate Lin Wutian. Lin Wutian raised the corner of his mouth, and a trace of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He coldly said, Is that so? Then send a message to him and ask him to come and save you. Otherwise, I'll cut you into 8 pieces. Kid, are you tired of living? How dare you talk to the esteemed master like this? Hurry up and open the gate to welcome us. The silk pants clamored, angrily scolding Lin Wutian. Swoosh, Lin Wutian drew his sword indifferently, and the sword chi instantly wiped out their vitality. The foppish young masters opened their mouths, and blood spurted out from their mouths. Xie Yuxing was horrified. He saw a streak of blood on their necks, and their vitality was gone. Only then did he realize that Lin Wutian was not someone he could fight against. You wait. I'll ask my Evil Valley to send people over. Xie Yuxing trembled. He was really afraid that Lin Wutian would also attack him. Lin Wutian was expressionless. He stood with his sword in his arms, waiting for his message. This was the so-called encirclement. Xia Qiyue was cruel and merciless. She wanted to finish them off once and for all. She didn't want to give the hidden sects any chance. As long as one of them was surrounded, she would ask him to summon 10 or even 100 people. Di Longtian, Huang Xiaohu, Yi Mingxi, the younger generation of the crazy sect looked from afar, waiting for reinforcements to come. After Xie Yuxing sent the message, he kept retreating, trying to escape from Lin Wutian's control. But how could Lin Wutian let him escape? He directly slapped him unconscious and hung him in front of the gate, waiting for the Evil Valley's people to come. Sure enough, after 2 hours, a medium-sized cloud-piercing ship rushed out and landed outside the Jade Lady Sword sect. Dozens of experts rushed out. All of them were experts of the Celestial sect, standing proudly like kings. Kill him. The leading expert of the Celestial sect pointed his sword at Lin Wutian with murderous intent. Boom. More than 10 experts instantly flooded the place where Lin Wutian was standing. The earth cracked and time flowed backward. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The disciples of the crazy sect who were lying in ambush rushed over from all directions. Di Longtian used all his strength and turned into a 1,000-foot-long divine dragon. He swung his huge tail at the cloud-piercing ship, breaking it into pieces. Roar. The giant dragon's roar was deafening. Some of the weaker cultivators' souls were directly suppressed and died on the spot. Swish, swish, swish. This was Yi Mingxi's first battle after coming out of seclusion. Her figure was like a dragon, moving freely between heaven and earth. She kept killing people of the celestial sect, without a single move that was a match for her. She killed without blinking, not like a little girl at all. Leave the strongest one alive. Let him send a message and call the chief disciple of their sect. Lin Wutian didn't make a move. He only said coldly, "Okay." Huang Xiaohu used the law of gravity. Although the opponent was at the 8th stage of the celestial sect, his body sank and fell to the ground. Little Li kicked him in the eye and he screamed in pain. Boom, boom, boom. 5 or 6 young disciples punched and kicked him until he screamed in pain. However, the people of the crazy sect didn't kill him. He could only send a message to Lung Xia, hoping that he would come personally to save him. Actually, this scene wasn't just happening in this place. Almost every sect that didn't submit had 1 or 2 ancient killing gods in disguise. They took the initiative to provoke the hidden sects and started to fish to enforce the law, attracting a large number of experts. In the end, blood and bones piled up like mountains and rivers. The people of the hidden sects were all stunned. They didn't know who was beating them. When they called for reinforcements, the other side had mysteriously increased a lot. They had 10 people on their side, but the other side had 20 more. The sect had 100 people, but the other side sent out an army. Some of the hidden sects lost more than 50% of their people in just one day. Xia Qiyue was in the central city, pointing at the various major cities on the starfield map. This operation must catch them off guard. It must be carried out at the same time. Don't let the news leak. By the time they react, they will have lost more than half of their people. Xia Qiyue said in a low voice. Feng Sha and the others were impressed by Xia Qiyue's commanding ability. This was simply wiping out the hidden sects in one go. Which hidden sects wouldn't go crazy after losing more than half of their people? Once they went crazy, they would definitely send out their true elites. That would be the real decisive battle. What you all need to do now is to scatter the true super experts to prevent them from appearing in advance. The ancient killing gods have already suffered heavy losses. We can't have any more unnecessary losses. Xia Qiyue looked at everyone and continued. My battle strength is not as good as yours. I can't fight against the super experts. Please. Gu Qingyu and the others retreated, each holding a sword. Tian Gongshen and the others stayed in the center. On one hand, it was to protect Xia Qiyue from being assassinated by the enemy's super experts. On the other hand, it was to support the experts in all directions. Xia Ziluo was a little worried about Xia Qiyue. Now that they were going to fight, the hidden sects would definitely find out that it was Xia Qiyue who was commanding the ancient killing gods. At that time, waves of assassins would sneak into the city and assassinate Xia Qiyue. Their methods were vicious, and they wouldn't stop until they were dead. Ziluo, Fairy Qinxue, you two have the strongest battle strength. Go to the front of the ancestral land in the southeast, and kill the super experts in advance. If they are at the level of Yin-Yang Maple and Fifth Violent God, let them enter the war zone. There will be people who will deal with them. This time, we only need to be stable and not aggressive. Don't be stubborn, understand? Xia Qiyue warned in a low voice. Brother, it's not safe for you to stay here alone. Xia Ziluo frowned. It wasn't that she didn't want to go to the front to kill the super experts, but Xia Qiyue didn't have any super experts by her side. It was easy for her to die. Jian Qinxue was silent, waiting for the arrangements. Don't worry. I'm just afraid that they won't come. Xia Qiyue's lips curled up slightly, revealing a touch of confidence. Obviously, she already had a foolproof plan. Xia Ziluo had no choice. She couldn't persuade Xia Qiyue, so she could only say to Heavenly Palace God and the others, please, I'll do my best. Even if the super experts enter the war zone, I'll destroy half of their strength. Xia Ziluo was a heroine after all. Her battle strength was outstanding, not inferior to men. Holding the Netherworld Hell's map in her hand, she rushed straight to the vicinity of the ancestral land of the human race. That was the entrance to the imperial domain for the reclusive wealthy families, and also the entrance to the eternal battlefield. Many super experts had to pass through there if they wanted to enter the war zone. It was the most dangerous place. Jian Qinxue also followed. If the two super experts joined forces, The ancestral land of the human race would definitely be stained with blood. No one knew how many super experts would die here. Even the two of them would bleed. Now it was no longer about proving their Tao. Even if the Ghost Emperor and the Forbidden Lands didn't appear, the reclusive wealthy families could still cripple the human race and the myriad races. In the central city, Xia Qiyue frowned and said to Heavenly Palace God, "Think of a way to summon Brother Qinghan back. We'll talk about revenge later. Let's completely suppress the reclusive wealthy families first, and make them unable to resist. Only then will the human race have hope. We can only let Yimingxi try. We can't contact each other from a super long distance," Heavenly Palace God said after thinking for a moment. "Brother Heavenly Palace, I'll have to trouble you to go there personally. The human race needs Brother Yi now. He has an emperor weapon, and is also the pillar of the Kuang sect. His luck is heaven-defying. If he doesn't come back, we have no chance of winning." Xia Qiyue didn't infect the others with her pessimism. She only spoke her true thoughts after everyone left. Chapter 342. Many of these powerful sects were suppressed by the Dao Realm Holy Lands because of their bad behavior. Only a small portion of the secluded sects chose to live in seclusion, because they didn't want to participate in the affairs of the world. Even now they still hadn't come out. The Diwu family's fifth great emperor had offended too many people in his life. The fifth great emperor had died and had to live in seclusion. However, after the fifth great emperor left, there were no descendants. As time passed, the Diwu family became more and more desolate. If it wasn't for Yi Linchen's seniority, the Diwu family's situation would be even worse. In Half Moon City, the two experts of the Yin Evil Valley were stripped naked, leaving only their underwear. They were hung in the air, attracting the attention of countless people. Come and watch the secluded sects perform a miracle of their hands being tied up in the air. Little Meng, she didn't care at all. She beat the gongs and drums, calling over a large group of experts from Half Moon City. Even the 10,000 races were attracted. In these few months, the secluded sects were too powerful, suppressing the endless universe to the point that it was hard to breathe. Today, the secluded sects had finally vented their anger. Many people started to throw stones at Xie Yuxing and the others, causing them to cry out in pain. This was a humiliation to the secluded sects, attracting the disciples of a few powerful sections. In the end, they were all beaten to death by this group of little fellows. Only one person from each sect was left behind to inform the sects behind them. Desire God sect, Heavenly Moon sect, North Clan. There were a few people who didn't know which sect they were from. It didn't matter which sect they were from. As long as they were willing to contact their sect's disciples, they would be taken captive. Those who weren't willing to do so were killed. The people of Jade Lady Sword sect were excited. Only now did they understand the strength of the secluded sections. A group of the youngest disciples could sweep through an entire region. They couldn't imagine how terrifying the elders and protectors were. To become a branch of the secluded sects, they could at least keep their chastity in this chaotic world. At the very least, they would die a clean death and not become someone's slave. Boom. The cloud-piercing ship pierced through the clouds, shocking the local experts of Half Moon City, and causing them to flee. They looked at Jade Lady Sword sect from across the city. "How dare you? How dare you humiliate a powerful hidden sect like me? Isn't your Kuang sect a little too arrogant?" Before one of the cloud-piercing boats even stopped, a super-strong cultivator rushed out from it. He was at least as strong as the guardian elder of the Wild sect. Even if he was not a super-strong cultivator, he could be considered a pseudo-super-strong cultivator. The young man's aura was monstrous, and he suppressed the juniors of the Wild sect. Whoosh! Whoosh! More than 30 experts emerged from the cloud-piercing ship, and all of them had the strength of a region battle king. Their secret techniques were powerful, and they had a deep foundation. Even if their true battle strength was not as great as a region battle king's, they could still defeat a region battle king with their secret techniques and weapons. Second senior brother, it's a waste of time to talk to them. Let's wipe out these juniors from the arrogant sect today. Attack. Leave no one alive. The second senior brother ordered coldly. Di Long Tian transformed into a golden dragon and wrapped everyone inside, blocking the view of outsiders. But there was one more person among the insane sect's juniors. Shergu held the golden brick and looked at the second senior brother with an evil smile. Children, do it for me. Don't leave a single one behind. Leave this so-called second senior brother to me. Boom. The pseudo-extreme path brick came back to life and fell from the sky, directly smashing towards the second senior brother of the evil sect. The majestic emperor's aura swept up a sandstorm that covered the sky. Divine dragon swallows the sky. Roar. A dragon shadow streaked across the sky, coiled in the air, and swooped down. Except for Shergu and the second senior brother, everyone else was swallowed by the dragon's mouth. Even Lin Wutian and the others couldn't escape. Ah! What is this? The people of the evil sect screamed in horror. They wanted to escape, but they were swallowed by the dragon's mouth. Oh my god! Little Tian, what the hell are you doing? Long Tian's move directly swallowed the people of the insane sect and the evil sect. Even Lin Wutian could not react in time. He struggled to escape, but the huge suction force was like a black hole, making it impossible for him to resist. Pei, with a crisp sound, the dragon spat out a few people. It was Lin Wutian, Yi Mengshi, and the others. Everyone was shocked as they watched the dragon formed by Long Tian twist and turn in the air, crushing the mountains and rivers. The people of the evil sect in its stomach were torn into pieces, their vitality gone. Boom. While everyone was still in shock, Shergu smashed the second senior brother's face with a brick, smashing it out of shape on the spot. After smashing the second senior brother half to death, Shergu instantly disappeared into the Jade Lady's sword sect. Everything happened quietly. The people of the half-moon city outside thought that it was done by this group of juniors, and could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Long Tian was simply too frightening. This was not something a human could do. Roar. More than 30 experts were smashed into pieces, their bodies covered in blood. Then the dragon spat them out from the sky. The huge impact caused the land outside the Jade Lady's sword sect to sink a few hundred meters. Xiao. Lin Wutian's sword shattered, turning into tens of thousands of sword lights, directly suppressing the heavily injured experts. The 30 experts did not even have a chance to fight back. Yi Mingxi, Huang Xiaohu, and the others pounced on the unconscious second senior brother, punching and kicking him, suppressing his Zhenyuan and instantly destroying half of his vitality. Kacha. Huang Xiaohu twisted the second senior brother's legs, waking him up. He pointed his sword at the second senior brother and said coldly, "My insane sect is indeed not strong, but it is not something that the evil sect can provoke." Xiao, Lin Wutian killed Xie Yuxing and Yi Mengshi with one sword and sealed the second senior brother, hanging him up. This person's status was very high, so he should be able to lure Leng Xie here. The insane sect is too frightening. Aren't they afraid of so many hidden sects coming to their door? What's there to be afraid of? Do you know how many experts there are in the insane sect? Let's not talk about Yi Qinghan. Even if 2 super first-rate experts came, they would still die if they were blocked by those elders and protectors. The people outside the half-moon city were excited and disgusted. At this moment, the aura from all directions became heavy and dark clouds covered the sky. Everyone retreated back into the city. A small insane sect that doesn't even have a divine martial expert dares to be so presumptuous. You don't even put us hidden sects in your eyes. A voice enveloped the entire half-moon city. It was extremely powerful and shocked everyone into silence, not daring to leave the city. Xiao xiao xiao. Behind a figure, there were more than 10 cloud-piercing boats. There were at least 300 to 400 experts. The flags on the cloud-piercing boats were all different, indicating that at least 5 or 6 powerful hidden sects had come. A young expert descended from the sky above the half-moon city. He was evil and cold, his eyes cold. When he glanced around, it was as if he could see through all illusions and stare at the origin of everyone. The people in the half-moon city lowered their heads, not daring to look at him directly. Leng Xie from the Evil Yin Valley, a super expert. He was also the first super expert to be attracted here. Lin Wutian was the oldest. At this moment, he was protecting everyone behind him. He looked coldly at Leng Xie and said disdainfully, "Although the insane sect is weak, we will not allow anyone to humiliate us. If you dare to attack us, You must be prepared to die. Scram. How dare a stinking bug like you act so presumptuously in front of me? Lung Xie waved his hand and his aura surged, forcing Lin Wutian and the others to retreat. However, it was impossible for him to hurt them. Ask your master to come out and talk. Today, I want him to give me an explanation. You have to pay the price for humiliating the people of the evil Yin Valley. Lung Xie scolded disdainfully. Lin Wutian and the others sneered silently. They did not attack but waited for the cloud-piercing boats behind them to enter the encirclement. Xiao xiao xiao, more than 10 cloud-piercing boats arrived quickly and rushed out together. They were all super experts and their forces were mixed. They were filled with killing intent. Are you all here? If you want to talk to my master, sure. Lin Wutian snorted coldly. His cold sword trembled, and the sword roared like a dragon as it rushed into the void. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Thousands of ancient killing gods rushed out from behind the half-moon city. They came from all directions. Obviously, these people were not enough. After all, Lung Xie was a super expert. As long as they were not a super expert, no matter how many people came, they would not be able to stop him. Hua. The Jade Lady Sword sect protecting Grand Formation was activated. Divine light fluctuated, and more than 10 experts rushed out. Zetian Lin Aoqiong, Dugabatian, Shirgu Jinyan, and the others were all here. Only Zetian was the guest elder. Zetian's lips curled into an evil smile. He clenched his fists and said to Lung Xie, I can be considered as their senior. Lung Xie, what do you want to say to me? Lung Xie's expression changed slightly. Looking at the ancient killing gods, he knew that things were not going well. You plan this? Zetian, think carefully before you do anything. If you kill all of them, you will definitely attract the attention of divine martial artists and even fake emperors. Can you handle it now? Lung Xie was alert and threatened. Clap clap clap. Zetian clapped his hands and said softly, You are half right. This is indeed planned. However, we don't just want to kill them, we want to kill you as well. Our goal is to lure out the fake emperor behind you. What did you say? Lung Xie was shocked. If a super expert wanted to escape, who could stop him? Zetian and the rest were planning to kill him. Set up the array. Sky prison array. Today, not even an ant can escape. Zetian laughed coldly and waved his hand. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Thousands of ancient killing gods, experts of the 5th level and above, and many of them were of the 9th level. They formed the array and suppressed the area. Kill. Zetian took the lead and pounced on Lung Xie. His iron fists tore through the void. Earth-shattering starry sea. Hua. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The two of them charged into the sky and fought crazily. Shirgu took advantage of the situation and attacked Lung Xie. He was injured on the spot and coughed out blood. Below, the crazy sex protectors pounced into the crowd. They were like wolves in a flock of sheep. They could do whatever they wanted. A few of them were 100 battle kings. It was easy for them to kill a few top experts. Lin Wutian and the rest also entered the battlefield and started their real combat experience. These hidden forces were their real stepping stones. They could use any kind of secret skills. Yi Mengxi was extremely powerful. Her speed was unparalleled, and her mental strength was explosive. She could destroy an expert's soul instantly. Even if he didn't die, he would be sealed. This was the meat grinder of the battlefield. Over 300 experts from the 6 hidden forces were all killed. Not a single one was left. The super first-rate existences in the sky were almost one-sided. Zetian himself was a super first-rate existence. In addition, Shirgu was wielding a pseudo-extreme Dao Monarch weapon. Anyone who was hit by his attacks would lose half their life. Boom. Boundless heaven and earth, collect all skills. Suppress him. The huge golden brick circled in the air and shrunk continuously. Zetian was restraining it from the side, and the outer space was being sealed by the ancient killing god. Lung Xie was terrified and he roared. Zetian, how dare you? How dare you kill me? My evil valley will destroy all of you. Even if we die, you won't be able to see it. Shirgu roared. He was almost burning his life to control the golden brick. In an instant, Wuxia was smashed into the depths of the ground. Then he summoned the golden brick. Zetian and Shirgu worked together seamlessly. They used the third move of the Qilin Divine Fist and punched through the mountains and rivers. Wuxia was suppressed inside. You're tuning in to the Limei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.